Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. We've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it. Good morning. Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharpe.
Hi, Jenny. How are you?
Hi, guys.
Hi, Jenny.
Yeah, how are you, Shannon?
I'm good.
You know what my favorite thing about this show is?
What?
You get beat down?
How much it torments him to have to keep talking about Tom Brady day after day after day. He has become your worst nightmare. I know you dream about him because you have nightmares about him.
Monday
I know
was
you
last
dread coming in here because Monday is going to be your worst day ever on
Monday be
Undisputed.
the last time.
No,
Maybe
Here
the
it
last
comes.
time. I don't know.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yep.
I
You like that? You like that?
I thought you said you
Are we
could
gonna sing?
I can.
You
Wasn't
could have fooled
expecting
me.
that.
Yeah, I couldn't even
How you
figure out what that song was. I had to let it.
It's old.
You know what,
spiritual.
though?
Yeah.
I
Old
have
shit.
to say, Skip, I'm enjoying it, too.
Are you?
It's been fun talking about Tom Brady.
I thought you meant as singing.
Well, no, that was a nice little treat, but
no,
talking about
so-
Tom, how well he's been doing.
Let's talk about him some
Do
more.
it. Yeah, we have a lot more to get to on today's show. And also, we're going to chat about LeBron. Shannon, are you starting to worry about your guy?
Never.
He's still injured. And then what about Skip's guy, Kyler? Is he going to be a top 10 pick?
Yeah.
But let's start with the AFC Championship game. And hey, some Tom Brady chat. The Patriots are a 3-point underdog heading to Kansas City. The two head coaches, Bill Belichick and Andy Reid, have history against each other. Belichick's teams have allowed at least 40 points 7 times in his career, and 3 of those were against Andy Reid, including the Patriots' 43-40 win in October. In fact, in 3 of the last 4 meetings between the two, Andy Reid's Chiefs have scored at least 40. So, Shannon, does Andy Reid have Belichick's number?
No, it's a more of a function of Kansas City's offensive talent that they put on the football field. And don't feel bad. They score 40 against a lot of people. They average over 35.5 points per game.
Okay.
They're good. If you look at the times that, let's go back to 2014, Skip, when Andy Reid first got to Kansas City, the one thing that they can do that Coach Belichick doesn't like you to do is run the football. That night they ran the football for over 200 yards. Now, Tom Brady really helped them that night, and that's why a lot of people thought it was over for him. He turned the ball over 3 times. It was 27-0 midway through the third quarter. Coach Belichick goes into every ball game, with the exception of the Super Bowl in which they beat the Giants. We're going to shut off your run. Well, he can't shut the run off. They're averaging 155 yards rushing. So now, if you run the football, Coach Belichick's dropped the safety down, says, okay, now try and run the ball. Guess what that opens you up to? The home run plays over the top. Tyreek Hill in 2 ball games, Skip, he had He's 14 catches, 275, 4 touchdowns. So now, remember we talked about this on Sunday. San Diego didn't take away anything. They couldn't stop the run. They couldn't stop the pass. And that's what's going on here, Skip, with Coach Belichick. He can't stop the run. And when you can't stop the run, you especially if you got decent quarterbacks. Now, there's sometimes, Skip, you can't stop the run and the quarterback isn't very good, and so they can't punish you to the tune of 40 yards. But when you can't stop the run, and Kansas City's running, you look at it in 2014, Now Davis, Jamal Charles, not only were they running the football, they were catching the ball out of the backfield. Hung 41 on them. Again, the opening night, that Thursday night, what was it, last year, Skip, 2 years ago? What happened? Kareem Hunt burst on the scene. 98 yards receiving, over 145 yards rushing. When you can do that, Skip, you're at the team's mercy. And now you throw in my homeboy. Now, this is what we know. Now, they did, I know you like, Alex Smith scored this. When they had
Have I spoke?
No, you haven't spoken.
Yes,
Finally, you know what, Jenny? I feel very comfortable. This is so nice of you, Skip Bayless, to allow me to talk without so rudely interrupting like you normally do.
I just had to point out that I have not spoken because you
Giving
just
you the
tried to put words in my mouth.
Because I already know you.
Yeah.
The thing is that with Patrick Mahomes is that when you score like they score, you can't dink and dunk the ball. You have to be willing to put yourself in harm's way, and sometimes you're going to turn the ball over, but you're going to get those home run threats down the field. Tyreek Hill in 2 games, each game he has at least a 75-yard touchdown catch. He had, had 143 on the first game they played. This time he had 140-something and 3 touchdowns. So, Skip, when you have that kind of balance, when you can run the football, and Coach Belichick wants to stop that run, and he can't stop the run, they're immensely talented. Jamal Charles has the highest yards per attempt of anybody with a minimum of 1,000 carries. That's Jamal Charles. That's what they were trying to stop. And then Kareem Hunt, we know what he represented his rookie year because he led the league in rushing. And now you come back, Kareem Hunt was there. He was there that last time they played two, Skip. Remember that.
Yep.
And then Tyreek Hill was unbelievable, Travis Kelce. So that's what it is, Skip. I mean, they average 35.5. It's not like all of a sudden they average 20, and then when they play the Patriots, they get 40. No. They got 51 against the Rams. They got 40 against the Steelers. They got 45 against the Bengals. They get 40 against a lot of people.
We're not just talking about 2018, though. We're going back to 2014.
I said 20, yeah.
Okay.
That Monday Night Massacre.
So the Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe just beautifully broke down to you exactly why Andy Reid owns Bill Belichick, why he has Bill Belichick's number, and that number is 40.
Oh, my goodness.
Way to go, because what we just saw, all the numbers you just displayed, they all scream that in the end, Bill Belichick has lost his fastball on defense. I don't know why people can't see this because it has routinely happened, much of it because of Andy Reid, but I can go into several other games in which he has clearly just lost his fastball. These numbers scream that Bill Belichick should thank his lucky stars for the quarterback at age 41 who continues to save his legacy and let him off the hook for these collapses that routinely have happened, especially at the hands of one Andy Reid. So we're not going back to the Super Bowl, the long ago after the 2004 season Super Bowl. That's ancient history, and Belichick had his fastball on defense in those days. But lately, since Andy Reid has been in Kansas City, we have seen again, I just want to drive these numbers home, 41 points, 42 points, 40 points. And in those games, and by the way, there was a playoff game stuck in the middle of them after the 2015 season. It was in early 2016, a divisional round playoff game in Foxborough that went down to an onside kick, just for the record.
Right.
And I'm about to break that game down in just a second. But in the 4 games Andy Reid has coached against Belichick's defense while he's been in Kansas City, the Chiefs have gone 27 of 53 on third down. That's 51%. So more than half the time on third down, they convert. Trust me, you're going to be in trouble if that happens on that many third downs. If you allow more than half of 53 third downs to get converted, bad things are going to happen on the scoreboard, and that's what keeps on happening because in those 4 games, Andy Reid's Chiefs have put up almost 100 first downs. It's 24 a game for 4 games. And I point out that 3 of those 4 games were quarterbacked by check down Alex, not by your homeboy, but by check down Alex. In those 3 games that he has played, he's averaged 277 yards passing. His career average, to your point, is 205. So against Belichick, he just feasts on Bill Belichick. And speaking of feasting, I know at the end of most regular seasons, you can say they've got a top 5 defense, or at least this year, a top 10 defense in score and points allowed, right? That's because they feast on the East. That's because they get 6 games a year against teams that they can deal with.
You see what you did, Skip Bayless?
Well,
Jenny, you saw what he did. Now, when you want to make the argument that Coach Belichick has lost his fastball, now it's against the AFC East. But you don't do that when Tom Brady is winning all these AFC East titles. You don't mention the Jets. You don't mention Buffalo, and you don't mention Miami. Why?
Tom Brady put this team in position to have the 1 seed. This game, you know, in your heart of hearts, should be being played in Foxborough on Sunday night, not in Kansas City.
Because they shouldn't have lost to San Diego. I mean, the Chargers, LA Chargers, should they?
The game they shouldn't have blown, thanks to Bill Belichick, was up 33-28 with 7 seconds left in Miami, and Miami was stuck 1st and 10 at its 31-yard line and somehow managed to pull off a home run play that was not a Hail Mary, that did not require Rob Gronkowski to defend a Hail Mary at the goal line. It required him to make the tackle because he was the last line of defense, broken down as he is, shell of himself. He can't run, he can't jump, he can't move, and he allowed I don't even know what we're going to call it. Let's just call it the Miami Miracle play that cost the New England Patriots this home field advantage. This game should be in New England because Tom Brady did his part in that game, played his best statistical game of the year at Miami, where he had lost 4 of his last 5, to put this game at home. So again, he almost saved Belichick from himself until the Miami miracle occurred. But let's continue to look at the one good game that New England played against Andy Reid, and it was that playoff game, and it was 27-20. So they held Kansas City to 20 points, but look what they didn't hold them to. Kansas City in that game, this is at Foxborough, was 12 of 20 on third down. They ran 83 plays to only 56 for Tom Brady's offense and controlled the football 38 minutes to only 22 minutes. So Tom Brady only had the ball for 22 minutes in that game, and he was just extraordinary. He had a QBR of 87. He saved the day because all the little big throws that he made all counted.
They gave up 20 points.
Okay, but look what they gave up. Alex Smith couldn't cash in the red zone.
Okay.
Isn't
that the defense? Aren't they going against the defense?
Even then, they finally drove it at the end of the game, 80 yards for a touchdown. And with 1 minute and 15 seconds left, they had an onside kick that, again, I had picked New England that game, and I am covering my eyes because if they recover it, these are the old onside kick rules where it was much more recoverable. Mm-hmm. And guess who recovered it? That guy Gronkowski, who used to be Gronkowski, and he recovered the onside and saved the day in that game.
That red zone, though, but
yeah.
I'm just going to know who's responsible for the red zone?
Well, I'm just saying, but look what they gave. You want to talk about bend, but don't break.
Yes.
They didn't break enough, but boy, they bent a lot. Because 12 of 20 on third down, that's horrendous.
That is a lot of third down, Skip. Yeah. But you do understand, in 2014, Tom Brady turned the ball over 3 times. Mm-hmm. They had 0 points midway through the third quarter.
Which game are we talking about?
2014, the Monday Night Massacre.
Was a disaster.
Okay, so you can understand how they could get to 40 if Tom turns the ball over and they're not generating anything offensively. They rushed the ball for over 200 yards.
Okay.
If you run the ball,
to your point, again, in the 4 games against Andy Reid, his team has run the ball an average of 155 yards a game. Well, you're probably going to lose.
Right.
You're lucky that you've pulled out any of those games.
And what did he also try to do, Skip? He says, I'm going to take away your best offensive weapon. Okay, who was Kansas City's best offensive weapon? You're going to take time because, see, Skip, I don't know if we've ever seen anything like this before. Because if you look, let's just take anybody that had let's look at the Dallas Cowboys. And Emmett and Michael and Troy. Well, Troy couldn't throw the ball like Mahomes, and Michael damn sure couldn't run like Tyreek Hill. Okay, Emmett could run the football. So if you stop and say, you know what, the team wasn't really worried about Michael getting over. Now, he's going to run that bang 8, the skinny post. He's going to run that deep 5, that comeback. That's Michael Irvin's right. He made a living off that. But Skip, the big play potential. Tyreek Hill is a legitimate touchdown anytime he gets his hands on the ball. So Coach Belichick says, okay, I'm going to stack the box. Do you really want to stack the box against Tyreek Hill and leave him one-on-one with anybody? No, you don't. Coach Belichick, if you look at the way he builds his defense, Skip, for the most part, they are really, really young. He doesn't have he doesn't have a Von Miller. He doesn't have a Khalil Mack. He doesn't have an Aaron Donald. So
whose fault is that? He's the personnel director. I don't know. I don't know.
Because that's not how he wants to spend his money.
Well, he had Chandler Jones. And
he wants to spread his money over a lot of areas.
I still don't know where the money goes, but that's just me. I don't get it.
In his pocket, he's making a lot of money.
Maybe.
But anyway, Skip, if you look at his team, they're really, really young. And early on, they make a lot of mistakes. But they build, and they build, and they build. And then when it gets time to late in the season in playoffs, everybody knows where they're supposed to be, and they make plays. So he's going to give you he doesn't care about yards. He don't care if he finished 32nd in yards. What he cares about is points. As long as I keep your butt out of the end zone, kick those field goals. Because I know I got a guy, while you kicking field goals, I got a guy that's going to go get 7. So that's the way he approaches it, Skip. But don't be a back.
I don't know how young they are. When I start thinking about Chung and Hightower and Devin McCourty and Stephon Gilmore, I don't know. They seem like old to me.
No, but see, he sprinkles in Trey Flowers and he gets a Van Noy. Skip, he gets guys. Now everybody can't play for him. Remember, Chris Long won the Super Bowl. They wanted him back. He says, no, I need to go where I can be a football player, Skip. I want to rush the passer. You give up anything that you want. You give that up. If you want to make the Pro Bowl, Skip, as a defensive lineman, it's not going to happen if you play for the Patriots because you're going to two-gap, you're going to play right down the guy because Coach Belichick don't want you getting up the field and leaving lanes for the quarterback. So it's really, really hard for you to make the Pro Bowl, and you got to be willing to sacrifice. Everybody says they want to win, but very few people are willing to sacrifice and do what it takes to win. And in order to go there, in order to play for him, that's what you have to do.
Okay. Well, all that old, new talent on defense, October 14th at home this year against Patrick Mahomes, gave up 31 points in the second half. That's just horrendously bad. That tied for the worst second half points allowed in the whole league this year, in the whole season
What did
this
they do
year.
to Mahomes in the first half?
Okay.
Dante Hightower picked him, ran it back down to the 7, and they
Okay.
picked him up in the end zone that would have assured gotten points, but it held him out of the end zone.
24-9 at halftime.
Yes.
And then here came the Chiefs, and all of a sudden they get ahead 33-30, and Tom Brady happened. And he actually ran for the touchdown that put them back ahead with a 4-yard run. Who knew? And then he threw for 182 yards just in the fourth quarter and outscored Patrick Mahomes 16-14 in the fourth quarter. That was just all Brady all the time and saved Bill Belichick again. He saved him constantly. And just think about this. How about the last Super Bowl? Did Brady not do his part to take Belichick off the hook? Because Belichick gave up 41 to Nick Foles. 41 in the Super Bowl?
But what couldn't he do? Couldn't stop the run. So now you can't stop
well, whose
the run.
fault? That's somebody's fault. I've lost my fastball.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Now you just said running the football. You just said this yesterday. In the past 2 days, you said running the football and stopping the run is about want to. You said the Cowboys defense didn't want to. So now that's Coach Belichick's fault?
Well, it wasn't in the Super Bowl. Nick Foles threw a big party in the Super Bowl.
Because if you can't stop
373?
373.
Yeah.
But if you can't stop the run, what can I do to you now? I can play action you. And you talk about play action, Skip, to a team that already can't rush the quarterback.
Okay. And by the way, in the 4 games against Andy Reid, the Patriots have totaled 6 sacks in 4 games. So whoever, whether it's Alex Smith or Patrick Mahomes, they have had time to order Kansas City barbecue before they decide where they're going to throw the football, right?
Yeah.
There's no pressure. So they run it at will, 155 a game, and they throw it at will because you can't get any heat on the quarterback.
But let's go back to that October Sunday night game. You say the score at the halftime was what? 24-9.
Yeah.
So did Kansas City get a touchdown and a safety, or did they kick 3 field goals once they got into the red zone? Because if you say they kicked 3 field goals in the red zone, I need you to applaud and clap for Coach Belichick's defense because they did their job.
They did their job, and they gave up 40 points at home, 31 in the second half.
Okay, let's just say
that's do their job. You know what? Those are fireable numbers. All these numbers I've given you, most coaches not named Bill Belichick would get fired over all this.
Okay, let me ask you this.
The owner would finally say, "This guy just doesn't know what he's doing."
Instead of 24-9 at the half, the score is 20. Because the score easily could have been what? They got a pick. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, the score is 24-24. Because instead of kicking field goals, they scored touchdowns, and Mahomes threw a pick in the end zone to end the half. So now it's 24-24. Now, Skip, I can say, you know what, Skip, you're right. Coach Belichick's lost it. His defense is not holding up their end of the deal. But they did, because not only did they take the possession, because Mahomes threw that interception, I think if I'm not mistaken, it was either first or second down.
First down.
That Hightower picked it.
Oh, no, that was the first one. I thought you meant one at the end of the half.
No, the Hightower picked him, I think it was
forget
first
what
or
it
second.
was, but he ran it back to the 4-yard line.
Yeah.
So it was just a gift.
So who did that? Was that Brady? Was that Gronk? Gronk picked that ball. That's an offensive pick. Come on, Skip. Look, you can make
31 points in the second half?
You make it, but here's the thing.
How many times did they pick off Mahomes in the second half? How many turnovers did they force?
None. But
they also
Tom Brady
gave up
didn't turn it over at all.
They gave up a 97-yard kickoff
return.
Yeah.
But Skip, here's the thing, is that at some point you got to give you keep saying you don't want to give the offense any credit. You just keep giving blame. But you only give credit to Brady, but you don't place blame on the defense. Why is that?
Place blame on what defense?
The opposing defense when Brady is carving them up. You just highlight what Brady's doing. Well, maybe they've lost their fastball.
Okay, Philadelphia had the 5th best scoring defense in pro football last year. And in the Super Bowl,
Brady carved it up for 500.
505 yards. No one in the history of the National Football League has ever thrown for that many yards in any playoff game, let alone a Super Bowl. And he did it on only 28 completions. So if you do the math on that, every time he completed a pass, it was for an average of 18 yards of completion. That is off the charts sensational. That's otherworldly.
Jim Schwartz, that's a fireable offense.
Okay.
That's a fireable offense for Jim Schwartz.
41 to 33. He put up 33, by far the most points a loser has ever put
against
in the
the
Super Bowl.
5th-ranked defense.
Yeah. Because he's Tom Brady.
Oh, see, now.
At age 40, he is by far the greatest quarterback who ever played. He has gone like eons beyond Joe Montana.
But see, you make it seem like Mahomes is trash. How could Patrick Mahomes score 31 points? All he's going to do at the age of 23, he just threw 50 touchdowns.
But what just punctures your argument is that check down Alex was doing the same thing. He did it 3 times. He did it.
Okay, so what we going to do about Kareem Hunt going off for 250 yards opening day?
I don't know. Look, it's just.
Did you know Kareem Hunt could do that?
It's like pick your poison. Sometimes they run it like crazy, and sometimes they throw it like crazy. But they do whatever they take whatever they want from Belichick's defense. Do you know the old story? Do you know the expression "the emperor has no clothes"?
Yes.
Do you know that?
Yes.
It's from a Hans Christian Andersen short story called "The Emperor's New Clothes," and the weavers who were going to make his new outfit. Right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. They convinced him that they had something so great that common folk couldn't see it, but they really had nothing. So he actually went out and paraded down Main Street with no clothes on, thinking he had on beautiful clothes. Well, that's Bill Belichick. He has no clothes. And everybody thinks he still wears beautiful clothes, except me. And I'm saying Brady is wearing beautiful clothes, and Belichick is naked. He's naked. Andy Reid has disrobed him 4 times. And he's exposed him 4 times. So, not to get too graphic here, but that's what happened.
So for my clarification, because I'm really not that good. So Coach Belichick has been the head coach in New England for 20 years, right?
Yeah.
20 seasons. That's 16 games. Am I correct? Mm-hmm. That's 320 total games. Am I correct? So you trying to tell me in 320 games, he's given up 40 points 7 times, and now he's lost his fastball?
Last 3 years, lost his fastball.
Let's stop playing, Skip.
Saved only by the 40-year-old quarterback, now 41. It's just extraordinary what's happening.
So what about when Coach Belichick's defense was giving up 17 points in the Super Bowl, and they lost? Whose fault was that?
When is this?
That was against the New York Giants.
Oh, that's
that was against the New York Giants.
That's back in the day.
Oh, okay? but hold on. Okay. You got Tom Brady, the all-time greatest.
I said lately he's lost it. Last 3 years, lost his fastball. And the guy who's taken the biggest advantage is Andy Reid in Kansas City. Not Andy Reid in Philadelphia. Andy Reid in Kansas City.
320 games. He's given up 40 points.
We're talking about the last 3 years. You know what I'm talking about. 41, 42, and 40. And they better hope that it's below 0 in Kansas City, because if it's not, he's going to put up another 40.
Got to update resumes around.
Yeah.
That's what we do, right?
And that's what Coach Belichick did. He upgraded his with a couple of Super Bowls in the last 3 years. As a matter of fact, since you said, what has Coach Belichick had added to his resume in the last 3 years? Super Bowls.
You know, just a couple.
I think
either
Tom
way.
Brady.
We are ready for this game. I'm so excited. But how about LeBron? When are we going to see him back on the court? The Lakers. It's been a long time. We'll discuss next.
No mercy.
Hey guys, Jenny Taft here. More of the Undisputed podcast is on the way, but first I wanted to talk to you about Robinhood. Robinhood is an investing app that lets you buy and sell stocks, ETFs, options, and cryptos, all commission-free. They strive to make financial services work for everyone, not just the wealthy. With data presented in an easy-to-digest way, Robinhood is a non-intimidating way for stock market newcomers to invest with true confidence. Here's why I recommend Robinhood. No commission fees. Other brokerages charge up to $10 for every trade, but Robinhood doesn't charge commission fees. Trade stocks and keep all of your profits. It's simple. With easy-to-understand charts and market data, Robinhood allows you to place a trade in just 4 taps on your smartphone. The Robinhood web platform also lets you view stock collections and analyst ratings of buy, hold, sell for every stock. You learn by doing it. Learn how to invest as you build your portfolio. Discover new stocks and track your favorite companies with a personalized newsfeed. And you can create custom notifications for price movements so you never miss the right moment to invest. Best of all, Robinhood is giving listeners a free stock like Apple, Ford, or Sprint to help build your portfolio. Sign up at undisputed.robinhood.com. That's undisputed.robinhood.com to start investing today. Now, back to the show.
No mercy.
Well, the Lakers did beat the Bulls last night in what Lonzo Ball called a must-win. Lonzo had 19 points. Kyle Kuzma and Brandon Ingram added 16 each. LA is now 4-7 without LeBron. He's supposed to be reevaluated today, but his agent Rich Paul said LeBron will definitely miss the next 2 games on the road against the Thunder and Rockets. Shannon, it has been over 3 weeks now. Over 3 weeks.
Over 3 weeks.
Shannon, over 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Are you surprised LeBron is still out?
Absolutely not. Actually, it's going to be a month because he ain't going to be back till probably next week sometime.
Really?
Yes.
Did you advise
That's a
him
good
of this?
thing.
I ain't
Yeah.
advising nobody
How
of
is this
anything.
good?
I'm just going by, having this injury before myself. There's nothing to be concerned about, Skip. I would have been concerned had he come back in a week because I would have said you're pushing it, you're coming back too soon, and there's a greater risk for re-injury. And normally when you re-injure something, you're down longer than the original injury that put you down to begin with. So I applaud him because the athlete in us, especially when we see our team struggling, our natural instinct is like, I got to get back out there. I got to help. I got to save the day because I know there's something that I can do to prevent this from happening.
But
And you rush yourself back out there and you hurt yourself. So LeBron understands this. See, after they play OKC, who got trounced last night by the Hawks, so they're not invincible. James Harden is another level. James Harden might get 70. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We're not talking about James Harden.
Different day.
After this 2 games, Skip, they won't have to leave home until February. They got 4 home games, and then when you throw the Clippers make the 5th, they won't have to leave Staples until February.
But you don't want any part of that first home game back, right?
What you mean?
Golden State. You don't want any part of that. You don't want to come back for that game. do
We're
you?
going to come back when we're healthy, 100%, Skip Bayless. And we're not going to listen. The one thing that I told Bron, if I could talk to him, I say, Bron, he said, huh? He would say, yeah.
That's good.
And if I could tell Bron something, I was like,
He
Bron.
listens
He's
hard.
Like, huh? I said, look, don't you get coaxed into it. There's certain guys out here, Skip Bayless, that's going to try and coax you to come out there. Oh, LeBron, you're Iron Man. You never been hurt. What's a little old groin doing keeping a 6'9"? What is he now? Did he run out of vibranium? I mean, what's going on, Shannon? That'd be lush Shannon Sharpe.
That's good.
Yeah,
I
can
like
I tell
that.
you, Skip
That's
Bayless?
good.
He's listening.
Look, I'm not concerned at all, Skip. I just think he's erring on the side of caution, and you don't want to have this thing get re-injured and you're going to be down. If you miss a month with the original injury, re-injure it again, and you'll be down 2 months. And LeBron doesn't want that. The Lakers don't want that, and it's not going to happen. So he'll be just fine. I'm not concerned at all. And when he comes back, this is short. Because guess where we are, Skip? We're in the 9th spot. When he comes back and start climbing
I
that
think
ladder.
you just accidentally creeped back into the 8th spot last night.
Okay, we're in the 8th spot, but that's not where we were when he left. But when he comes back, the old song, Jenny, I don't know, like you go to a black church, they'll be singing, we are climbing Jacob's ladder. That's what we be saying, because that's when he come back, that's what we're going to be climbing, Jacob's ladder. Step by step, we're going to be in the 7th,
I don't
6th,
think LeBron's ever
5.
sung that song
Stop
before.
it, Skip,
I just
baby.
don't think
Songs
so. I could be
today.
wrong.
But,
Not a tune.
hey, we're in the 8th right now, Skip. In 3 weeks, we'll be in the 4th spot again. Now, run tell that. You want to put due on that?
Run tell this. Somehow, the 41-year-old quarterback in New England played all 17 games so far this year.
Oh, my God.
All 17. And how old is he now? I keep forgetting.
He's 34.
I was going to say 38. But
No, he's not.
He's in his 16th year.
16.
Is he 46? No, the 16th year. I got it.
But they can't hit
somehow
the
that guy who I thought was Iron Man has already missed, what is he up to, 11 games. And according to you, it sounds like we're on track to miss maybe 15 games before he comes back.
Yep.
Because I'm looking, I've already circled Phoenix, which is a week from Sunday.
Man, ain't nobody playing against no Phoenix. We gonna come back before then.
Well, that's the one you need to come back
No,
for,
we
right?
gonna go back before.
Okay, well, the one before that is Jenny's T-Wolves come.
That's what we got.
Okay.
That's not.
You got that
We
one?
got them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I even believe that right
We're
now.
coming back
at
against
this
the
point.
T-Wolves.
Yeah.
I have to hark back to the tweet that still sticks in my mind and in my craw that was tweeted, I think, by LeBron James. It's from his official account on December 26th. Can we show that, please?
Remember that
He was
tweet?
hacked.
Look at this. Dodged a bullet, exclamation point. Sheesh. Better than the other word, right? Then praying hands to the almighty above. Hashtag back in no time. No time is a long time.
No time.
Well, his no time is my long time. I don't know. I thought he was invincible.
Your time and his time is different.
Well, wait a second. It was just a little tweak of the groin, or maybe you got torn. If you're going to miss a month, something got torn a little bit. There's something going on in there.
We can't tell
the
you.
MRI showed some real damage
Yeah.
to the groin, right? So I don't know where this came from. Dodged a bullet?
Yeah, he
I
dodged
think
a
the bullet got him right in the
time,
groin.
See, Skip, time is a relative term. And see, in the Bible, they say 1,000 years in the eyes of God might be a day. So a long time for you, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Might be
get it.
an hour for Bron. And a month for him, might be 2 days for you. So time is relative.
So,
Skip Bayless.
well, let's go relative back in his career. The longest stretch he ever missed was 8 games
That's
back in
ancient
2014 into 2015.
you told me that's
Yes.
ancient history.
8 games. Well, it's not that long ago, but it was when he had just returned to Cleveland. He needed
Yep.
to go back
It's
to
been 5
Miami,
years, Skip.
get that vibranium going, and then he was okay
go.
after that.
There you go.
Said he had a sore knee. I don't know what he had, but he
Maybe he
seemed
need to go
just
see Alex
fine.
Guerrero.
Well, maybe he did.
Maybe he need
I
to go
don't know.
see Dr. Alex Guerrero and
Maybe
that
he
Chinese
needs-
medicine.
Maybe he needs some pliability to add to his routine because maybe he's getting a little stiff in his
Maybe Guerrero
in
got
his
an
advanced
ancient
stage.
Chinese secret, Jenny.
Huh.
That ain't none of my business, though.
Well, it ain't none of my business what's going on with
Me
this guy.
neither.
But
He gonna be back. Why
Wait,
you rushing it?
Which guy looks like he uses vibranium? Tom Brady or
Tom Brady.
Yeah. Have you seen LeBron James lately? Yeah.
Diesel.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, you told
ripped.
me. Yeah, he getting a little thin. I mean, what's going on with you,
No, he looks
LeBron?
really good, but I think that's from the cigars and the wine. It's he
No, if it work it out. And do you hear Luke say he's starting to pick up his own court activity?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I see him. He's moving around a little bit, so why not play? Which brings me
Stop
to
it,
my
skip it.
theory. I got a theory.
Okay, let's
I
hear it.
think he's watching this team struggle. I believe quietly he's liking that this team is struggling because it plants and creates the new narrative. He doesn't have enough help in Los Angeles. It plants the narrative, because Cleveland came here and won the game, that he had more help in Cleveland than he
Knicks.
has in Los Angeles.
So did the Knicks come here and win the game? So
Okay.
ask yourself that question.
So everybody in Laker Nation is saying, gee, we really need LeBron because this team isn't very good without him. And obviously there's no Rondo either.
So let me get this right, Skip Bayless. You can't beat the Cavs without LeBron. You can't beat the Knicks without LeBron. But even with LeBron, you're going to beat Golden State 4 times. Okay, when CP3
Right.
and Capella comes back, you're going to beat Capella, James Harden
Going.
4 times.
Going.
Stop playing.
Okay, you're just helping me with my idea here, this is my theory, that LeBron is setting himself up to win MVP. Because this is beautiful,
He
man.
was going to win it anyway.
Okay, he wasn't going to win it anyway.
win it.
He needs to come back completely, not only healthy, but incredibly rested, because this is a beautiful month off. Why don't I just take a month off from like this Christmas until late January? Let me
That's
get,
what he asked Santa
let me
for.
get up toward the Super Bowl. and
Santa
then-
say,
then
"Bron,
come
what you
back."
want?
Okay, what a beautiful plan of attack here, because then he comes back, and you know what? The West it's the weird West,
It's
because
crazy.
it's just crazy, because last night Denver at home, they were leading the West. They gave up 142 total points. They gave up obviously 51 points in the first quarter in Mile High, right?
Yeah.
This is where you're supposedly, I still think it's a wives' tale, but you can't breathe.
It
early.
is real.
I don't believe it. But
It
that's
is.
just me.
Well, go out there and run a marathon.
I've run big distance in Denver. Trust me. I've trained for marathons in Denver, and it never.
Why
even,
you train for them in marathon if altitude didn't help?
Well, I went there to cover games, and I'm in the middle of marathon training, and I had some big long runs, and I kept thinking, why don't I?
That's why your
aren't I
collar was late,
gasping?
because you was out of gas.
I was
That's
out
why
of
your
gas.
collar was late.
Sure
Yeah.
affects
all right.
me. Whew.
Okay.
It affects me
I
too,
feel
Jenny.
it.
Do you?
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
I don't ever feel it, and I've run there a whole lot. But the
Okay.
point is that in Denver, Golden State just goes in there and says, watch this. And that's the top team in the West, and I think they were 6th in defensive efficiency.
Yeah.
And they give up 51 in the first quarter.
Look.
Okay, but it just shows you how vulnerable Denver can be. And by the way, with my own 2 eyes, I watched LeBron and company beat Denver at Staples earlier this year.
And
so
you watched them beat them at Golden State.
Well, that was more about Lance Stephenson.
Yeah, well, no. Yeah, don't do that.
The Denver game,
No.
Lance just took it over.
No, I'm talking about Golden State.
Oh, well,
what Bron
that
was
was
doing
a wipeout
before he got hurt.
Well, that was the day.
Yeah.
Right? What was it? 127 to no? What was it? 127 to 101. What? That was at Golden State on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
So are they not still weirdly vulnerable? Yes, they're vulnerable.
But when they shoot like they
Okay,
shot
when they
against-
do that, it's over.
Nobody.
Okay, nobody can touch him. And I don't know what DeMarcus Cousins is going to do. Is he going to blend right in? I don't know. They're talking like, it's about to be over because DeMarcus is just dominating in practice. Well, we'll see about that.
Yeah,
if
of
it
course,
works in
he's
games.
big. They ain't got no big that can handle
Then
Boogie.
to your point, Oklahoma City last night, in a shock to me because they played such good defense, they give up 142 at Atlanta. 142, they just don't show up.
Yeah, and Atlanta's trying so hard to get Zion Williamson.
Okay, so that's correct. So you can see again, is it vulnerable in the, I mean, are all these teams vulnerable? Yes. So I think LeBron's sitting back stroking his chin saying, you know what, I'm just going to wait a
not
little
like
longer.
that.
I'm going to come back for Phoenix so I can light
He's
it up
not
that night.
coming
He
back.
will. He'll wait until
Timberwolves.
Phoenix. No. That's too dangerous.
No.
There's too much firepower on that.
You want to put him
So much inconsistency.
Do on what?
He coming back against Timberwolves.
No, I'm not. You probably got inside info.
See, why you where every time I bet I got inside information?
I'm guessing Phoenix. That's what they keep delaying and pushing back because they'll first we hear, he's going to come back in 2 games, and then it's like, no, he's going to miss 3 more games. Really?
What did I tell you? I said if you're starting to feel good and you feel good and you want to go 2 games, take another 2.
Okay. So he comes back for Phoenix, and here they go, and they take off on a streak, and they rip off, 9 out of 10 or whatever. And you know what the new narrative would be? LeBron's the MVP, right? James Harden right now, to me, is running away with it because he's doing it without CP3 and now without Capella and obviously having Eric Gordon. But yeah, you can't argue against that. But we still got a long way to go, and LeBron is perfectly positioned, Hollywood Bron in Staples, to make this run.
LeBron boat.
Yeah.
In other words, he chasing everything, all the MVP front runners, he chasing you down.
Yep.
You ain't got a big enough lead.
Well,
So, Giannis, you up first, bruh.
yeah, but what you got to watch out for is all those teams coming from behind you because it is still loaded. And I keep saying the Pelicans will make a run at some point. The T-Wolves will make a run.
That T-Wolves ain't making nothing.
Dallas Mavericks will make a run. They're just too talented not to make a run.
LeBron and I are cut from the same cloth, Skip Bayless. And I know he didn't run track, but I ran track, and I had a simple philosophy. What's behind stays behind.
Okay.
What's ahead was caught.
You ran a 4.840. How'd you run track? Well, I mean, seriously, what track meet are you going to win?
Well,
running a 4.8?
I will show you something on Friday to let you know that I didn't run no 4.8.
Oh, on Friday?
On Friday.
What on earth would that be?
I don't know. You need to stop putting that out there because people actually think, people see me walking down the street. Did you really run a 4.8?
My
No.
man John Wooten told me this. He said he
didn't run no
hand-timed you.
I didn't
He had
run
his
no
own
4.8.
watch.
I didn't run no
He
4.8.
he was a super scout. He went to Savannah State.
He did.
He did.
Detroit was there. I think the Falcons were there. The Jets was there.
Yep.
And you know what?
He went click, click,
That-
4.8.
That was a little slow click today. It was like click.
A little slower. It happens.
But
It happens.
anyway.
It does happen.
Robert Rex Ryan dad, Buddy came down and timed me. Buddy got me at 4.63 on dirt.
Stick with that one.
That's what Buddy. And Buddy say, son, if you're available when we draft, in the 3rd round, we're going to take you. They took Calvin Williams. They took Fred Barnett. They took Mike Bell. They ain't even look at me, Skip.
Well, there you go. Look
I
what
was
you
disappointed.
did. Yeah. You stuck it to them.
Yeah, they
Yep.
regret it.
Yeah. Well,
Only
I'm,
since- what?
I'm going to stick with America's team's time on that one.
I bet.
Interesting.
Well, they should have took me instead of Alexander Wright. They'd have been better off.
You know what? He had some problems. Woo.
He could run, though.
I got to know him. He could really run.
No mercy.
You brought up the Cowboys.
Yes,
Let's
thank
talk
you.
about
Let's.
it. We are done watching them this season, but that doesn't mean that we are done hearing from Jerry Jones. Yesterday, Jerry said he agreed with the report that the Rams offense could read the Cowboys' defensive signals. He also said the field was slippery and his team didn't have enough traction. And Jerry showed support for Jason Garrett, saying if Jason was part of the coaching carousel this offseason, he would have had 5 offers. Shannon, do you have a problem with anything Jerry said yesterday?
Yes, I got a problem. I got a problem with everything that he said.
Everything.
You
Well, that's shocking.
It's never, he doesn't want to give the opposing team any credit. It's never we got outplayed. It's always, I would have gone for it on 4th down or everybody was slipping. Well, I'm glad. I am so glad the Rams played in a dome. And then when the Cowboys got the ball, they had to go outside. Would Jerry Jones please stop that? Would fire your equipment manager because you have the same equipment that the Rams had. And so whatever they checked, whether you had on speed TDs or you had on 7 studs, it didn't matter. They were rooting you up out of there. See, here's the thing, Jerry. Let me bring a little news to you, Jerry.
Okay.
See, the way you view Jason Garrett and the way the league views Jason Garrett is something entirely different. Jenny, 2 of my most prized, I got 2 very prized possessions. Of all the things I own, more valuable than my Super Bowl rings, more valuable than my Hall of Fame ring. One is a plant that I got from my grandmother's funeral. I've had it since 2011, Skip. The plant's about, when I went, the horticulturist told me it was about 6 months old when I got it. Maybe a year old when I got it. So it's about 8, 9 years old now.
Wow.
That, and I got a picture of my grandmother sitting on a cooler fishing. They're not going to hang that in any museum. The value is with me, sentimental value.
Okay.
Jerry Jones, Jason Garrett, value is to you. Nobody else views him like you view him. I give you another example, Skip Bayless. Mike McCarthy was the coach for the Green Bay Packers for 13 years. 9 times he went to the playoffs. He went to 4 conference finals. He won a Super Bowl. Mike McCarthy was in contention for 1 head coaching job. Jason Garrett has won 2 playoff games. And you think somebody was going to hire him? Jerry, only you view Jason Garrett in that light. So in other words, the sentimental value that he has is only to you. He's not valuable to anyone else. Everybody knows he's not coaching the team. You are. You need to stop this chicanery. You can't fool old Shay Sharpe. Now all of a sudden, they knew our signal. But in 92, they used to know our signal when we had him in Detroit. Guess what, Jerry? You know what? I don't like breaking news because that's not what I do. I don't break news. I'm not an insider. You're not that 90s team. Contrary to what you think, Dak Prescott is not Troy Aikman. Ezekiel Elliott is not Emmitt Smith. And Amari Cooper is not Michael Irvin. This is not the 90s Cowboys 2.0. Once you come to that realization, you'll be just fine. So, Jerry, you need to stop this foolishness. Do what you always do. My grandma used to say, boy, if you do what you always done, you'll get exactly what you've always gotten. So guess what the Cowboys are going to get, Skip? What have they done for the last 8 years? They'll get what they've always gotten. Keep Jason Garrett, and you'll get exactly what you've been getting. You'll play well enough. You'll probably miss the playoffs next year. The following year, you'll make the playoffs. You'll win a game. Maybe not. And Jerry will be just happy. But you're not going nowhere. Sit back and like it. And I told you this. Told you. It hurt, doesn't it, Skip? That you should be playing the NFC Championship game. You should. That's where the Cowboys should be with all that talent. All them Pro Bowlers. Even Van Der Esch is in the Pro Bowl. DeMarcus Lawrence. So in other words, you guys has as many Pro Bowlers on the field Saturday night as the Rams. And they ran.
No, they actually had 5-4. No, 6-4 if you add Van Der Esch.
So now, I didn't know this.
6-4.
They say when somebody runs over you, they say it's rough shod. We say rough shot. They ran rough shot over y'all.
I use that in a tweet. Rough shod, S-H-O-D,
yeah,
shod.
Yeah, I thought we don't say shod.
Okay.
We don't do correct. We do rough shot.
First point of order on Mike McCarthy. He was viewed by the league as damaged goods because he fell apart with the greatest thrower of the football ever, Aaron Rodgers. So what went on there? Do we want to take a chance on that guy who couldn't even get along with the biggest diva who ever played quarterback in this league, Aaron Rodgers? That was just a travesty what happened to Mike McCarthy. He deserves a job, and I'm not sure Jason Garrett would have had 5 offers, but trust me, he would have had 2 offers.
From who?
And God rest the soul of your grandmother, but she did not coach the Dallas Cowboys to not 1 or 2, but 3 division titles. That's what Jason Garrett did. So he's valuable
Is that talent? With that talent, and all you got is division titles to show me?
But think about this. Just step back. I know you got to sift through all your Cowboy hate, which is just spilling out of you
I'm
right
coming
now.
back.
You're so happy that they're not
fall
plaguing
off.
you anymore. But just think about this.
Now I'm back.
Okay.
Jason Garrett is still 77-59 as the head coach of the Cowboys. Do I like him? I don't. I've tried to fire him 29 times on this show.
You have.
But he's 77-59. So in a vacuum, if you put him on the open market, somebody's going to sit back and say, he won 3 NFC East?
With that talent and no Super Bowls?
Wait a second. In 2014, he goes 12-4, and then 2016, he goes 13-3, and then 2018, he goes 10-6, and then wins a playoff game. He's 2-3 in the postseason, which is not 0-5. My point is, we look at some of the people who got, Cliff Kingsbury got a head coaching job. And I like Cliff Kingsbury a lot, but I don't know how he got that job.
Because they believe he could coach. Think about this, Skip.
Okay.
In 2014, the 3 offensive linemen made the Pro Bowl.
Okay,
So
fine.
did Dez,
All right.
so did Jason Witten,
Okay.
and so did DeMarco Murray.
All right.
So you got 7 Pro Bowlers
Okay.
on the offensive side of the football, and you win how many playoff games? Okay, you follow that up. Guess what? When Zeke comes in, you got another 6 guys go to the Pro Bowl. And you win how many playoff games? 0. So now, again, you got 2 offensive linemen in the Pro Bowl. You got Zeke in the Pro Bowl. And you win 1 playoff game. So I'm just trying to figure out, let me ask you a question, Skip Bayless. Let's just say for the sake of argument, because that's what we do up here, we argue.
Yep.
You know what? Arguing is such a harsh term. I hate arguing, especially with the commercial that came out. So
I like to argue, but that's just
I like to say debating.
Debate.
Debate sounds so much better. It's a healthy discussion, and that's what we do.
Respectful
Yeah.
debate.
When my therapist says, Shannon, say healthy discussion.
Oh, did you just admit that you?
My therapist says, Shannon.
Really?
Yeah, I'm getting in touch with myself.
Yeah, you just went Tony Soprano on
Yeah,
us
but
there,
anyway,
huh?
she
Try to
said,
keep you
Shannon,
guys in line.
healthy discussion.
Okay.
What would Sean McVay do with that kind of offensive talent?
I don't know. He's got plenty on his own.
Think about it, Skip Bayless. You had those 3 offensive
What are you
linemen.
talking about, Sean McVay? You already told me he's got the best running back in football.
You do.
And you think Jared Goff's way better than Dak Prescott. So what are you talking
No,
about?
I'm saying if he'd had that,
Brandon
that talent,
Cooks
if he'd
and
had-
Robert Woods
if he had
and-
that talent in 2016 with his imagination and motivation. You say he can motivate. You say your guy can't motivate.
Yeah,
That's what you say.
he cannot. I don't like my guy, but trust me, my guy would have gotten offers on the open market because
Ain't getting
there's a dearth of available coaches.
Yeah, but they don't-
They're all just desperate and
Jerry is
scrambling.
coaching. See, they giving Jerry all the credit with none of the accountability.
Okay.
See, all the losses go on his resume. But everybody know behind the scenes, like you tell me, puppet. Whoop, whoop, whoop,
I agree. I wish somebody would hire him away.
No,
I wish
no,
he'd
no,
take
no, no,
another
keep him
job.
there. No, keep him
you
there.
love him there.
Yeah, I do.
Does Jerry live in the past, in the 90s? Yeah, he does to a certain point. But what did I tell you yesterday before Jerry uttered these words? I told you the 90s Cowboys, everybody, I said exactly to you on the show yesterday what Jerry Jones then said on his radio show, which is in the 90s, everybody knew everything we were doing. We were so simple. We telegraphed everything. They didn't try to cover up their signals. I told you, North Turner told me after the first Buffalo Super Bowl, they knew everything. They certainly knew run or pass. They had binoculars on me, and whatever I would call, they would know whether we were going to run or throw. That's a big deal in a football game to have that advantage.
Do you realize what you have? You think about, you got 3 Hall of Famers.
Hey, I'm just saying, that's why I told you yesterday. They did not care about tells or secrets or
all you're doing is validating my point now. Because your offense isn't that good.
Yeah,
you can't tell.
Okay. Now we're getting to the third point here. I told you the most shocking outcome of a first half of a football game was Saturday night right here in Los Angeles at the
Why were you surprised?
Coliseum. Because the Dallas Cowboys had been one of the best defenses against the run all year. They had just stifled Seattle's #1 rushing attack. And when New Orleans came in with, I think they were the #3 rushing attack on that Thursday night game, they just shut it down. They held it to 65 yards rushing because they're really good against the run. So it was as inexplicable a first half outcome as I've ever seen because I couldn't process it. And don't give me boy genius Sean McVay.
Yeah,
baloney.
boy genius.
Baloney.
Boy wonder.
My team A did not show up. It was more psychological and motivational.
Why didn't you show up? Whoa. Hold on.
know.
You used that excuse against Indy.
Yeah.
Now, this is the playoffs.
No,
These
but-
games matter.
I used it validly against
You know what?
Aaron Rodgers in the playoff game at Jerry World.
But guess what? You know what the Rams did? They took DeMarcus Lawrence theory. What you do is when you hit a mofo in the mouth, and then later in the game you can choke his you know what out, Skip Bayless. So they hit him in the mouth, and then third and fourth quarter they choked him out.
Oh, did they choke him out? It was an 8-point game when it was early in the fourth quarter when it was 4th and 1 at the Rams' 35-yard line. That's choking him out, isn't it?
Choked him out.
And Jason Garrett calls Ezekiel up the middle. And now let me get to the traction point.
Sure.
That is a valid excuse, but your response to that excuse is also very valid.
Yeah.
It was slippery. It rained half the day on Saturday,
Yeah.
and I know that field very well. I've covered hundreds of games in that Coliseum, and it has a reputation on that grass field for getting slick, especially if it rains during the day. And there's this old song, it never rains in Southern California, but it does rain occasionally
Recently.
here. And when it does, it
Raining
gets
now.
really slick out there, and you have to be prepared for
Right.
it. And my team was not prepared.
Why is that?
I don't know. Is it Jason Garrett's fault? You have to see that coming. You have to anticipate it. During pregame warm-up, you have to figure out which of the shoes work. I got to tell you, Zeke's shoes didn't work because he looked like he was running in place to me much of the night. He couldn't get traction. He couldn't get takeoff.
Our girl looked good to me. CJ looked good
They
to
must
me.
know how to wear the right cleats, right?
Look, Skip, you only got 3 kinds.
I
you
got it.
speed TDs, you got molded bottoms, and you got 7 studs.
All right. Somebody screwed that up for the Cowboys because there's no way that my defensive line gets blown off the football. They
Yes, they
looked
do.
like they had no traction.
Hold on.
They looked like they could not hold that line. They couldn't hold their ground.
Was DeMarcus Lawrence active for that game?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you told me. You tell me when you watch TV, you look for guys to flash. I saw no flashes.
I saw no flashes because he talked about how he was going to take Jared Goff's soul. I think the offensive line of the Rams, I think it took his soul.
That's what they call him. That's what they call their offensive line. I had it on T-shirt.
Really?
They call him the body snatcher.
Really?
Yeah, the body snatcher.
Soul snatch.
Woo-hoo. Hold up. What about the what? I ain't seen no howling. What happened to the wolf hunter?
Oh, yeah.
I don't
Gay
know.
Chris Richard had an aneurysm. Had to go to the hospital. He yelling and screaming, "Y'all got to get off the blocks."
I don't know.
When you see this ISO, he's lined up. We went over this in practice, son. I need you to shed the block and you make the play.
All I saw was Wolf Hunter and Jalen Smith running backwards, chasing people.
Roll, bounce. Had them on skates, Skip.
Yeah.
I
And,
stopped-
and would you believe, despite 273 Rams rushing yards, my quarterback fought my team back into that game because he will not quit.
You know what? Despite having the most fourth quarter come from behind wins since he's been in the NFL, despite having the highest completion percentage in his first 3 seasons
Nobody's
at
done any better.
61.1%.
Yep.
Guess where he is today, Jenny? Watching Skip and
Totally
Shannon on
watching us.
Undisputed.
Yeah.
And
I wish he had been able to play linebacker on Saturday night because I would have had a better chance.
I wish he could have
If
played
coulda-
quarterback better. That's what I wish.
266 yards passing.
What good of that?
When you only have the ball for like
Them
24
old
minutes?
cheap yards.
Yeah. Oh,
When they
cheap yards.
needed them.
Really?
I thought I need something in the first. I need something in the first half, Skip. I need something in the third quarter,
He
Skip.
got it all the way to 8 points, and you know and I know if they had held on that 3rd and 7 late, he gets the ball back, he's going to go win that game.
In the words of
You
Luke,
know it,
cheap,
and I
cheap,
know it.
cheap,
You
cheap,
got
them old
so
cheap yards.
lucky.
I don't get no lucky.
You got
I'll
so
do nothing
lucky, and you are so relieved.
Luck
you don't
is
have
what
to
happens when
sweat them
preparation
anymore.
meets opportunity. If you're prepared for a night, when the opportunity presents itself, good things.
Yep.
okay.
And you thought you had me because
I
that was
got
your
you.
second case
I
of duty
got you.
you had won on Saturday. But then guess what happened? The 41-year-old
good.
happened on Sunday and wiped you out.
I would have been willing, Skip.
Yep.
I would have been willing to give you like 10 cases. I just needed the Cowboys
You did.
because I wanted that energy. Because every time I got sick of you for the last 8 weeks coming in
Yep.
here, looking into the camera. Which one is my camera? Like you don't know which one is your camera. You know exactly.
Which one is my camera?
Oh,
Where
there's
is it?
plenty of cameras to go around.
know
If
which
they
one's
are
your
watching,
camera.
maybe they'll enjoy this next one. What is next for Kyler Murray? Could he really be a top
Yep.
10 pick? We'll discuss next.
No mercy.
Kyler Murray made himself eligible for the NFL draft this week, so now the question is, how high will Kyler go? USA Today has him being drafted 6th to the Giants in their newest mock draft. That would pair him with Saquon Barkley, Odell Beckham Jr. to create a very scary offense. And ESPN's Todd McShay listed the Heisman Trophy winner as the 24th best prospect overall. He said Kyler is, quote, the most athletic quarterback prospect since Michael Vick in terms of quickness and speed. Shannon, which NFL team is the best fit for Kyler?
I like the Giants fit.
Really?
I really do. They play a lot of 3 wide receiver set. Saquon runs the ball extremely well out of the 1-back set. Kyler played a lot. Basically, that's all he played in, either the empty set or the 1-back set, Skip. But I was wondering, since Burger King is the sponsor of this segment, can I get a certificate for those French toast sticks, Skip?
You just thought of that right now?
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Are you hungry, or what's the problem?
Yeah, I just want to, I pass all these Burger King. I want to be able to go in there and take my gifts.
I'm
sure we could arrange
Well,
that.
sweetie, I do like it. I do like him to the Giants. But let me tell you what, Skip, I don't know if he's going to get to the Giants. Because you know who I think going to take him? Because this guy, he loved Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
He loved Johnny Manziel.
He did.
And I don't believe those 2 quarterbacks can hold a candle to this quarterback. So with that being said, I don't see him getting past the Raiders. I know they have Derek Carr. But I don't believe John Gruden is in love with Derek Carr.
I agree.
I believe he would be in love with this kid.
For a little while.
Yeah.
You know how he is with quarterbacks.
Yes.
Tough one.
And John, I don't know how well this kid could take that kind of tough coaching, Skip.
Yeah.
John Gruden is an old school coach in a new age, new wave type game.
Yeah.
And the way you talk to your former quarterbacks,
Yeah.
Rich Gannon and
Yeah.
maybe Brad Johnson, some of these others, I don't know if you can take to that. But I don't see him, this young man, Kyler Murray, getting past the Raiders. If the Raiders stay in that spot, I don't see him getting past them because John Gruden loved the athletic, mobile quarterback that can throw the ball, that can run the ball. He can put him on the move and do so many different things with him. I like him to the Giants. I think it would be tremendous to have Saquon, Odell. If Odell's there, I don't know what the Giants, no telling what the Giants might do with that situation. I think it'll be a great fit, but I can see him going to the Raiders. They got 3 first-round picks.
Well, at least the Oakland fans could say, well, he's not an A, but he's a Raider, right?
Right.
So they might be a little pacified there.
Skip,
Like,
you're
okay.
getting ready to go to Vegas.
Yeah.
And what do you need in Vegas? You need show. You need splash, pizzazz.
It would be
That
a
is
splash.
true.
I'm with you. I know John Gruden pretty well, maybe very well. I don't think it'd be a good fit with Kyler.
Really?
Even though he might fall in love. He might fall head over heels in love. I just think he needs another Rich Gannon or Brad Johnson. He needs a veteran, tough guy quarterback who will talk back to him and tell him to shut the you-know-what up during games
Yeah.
when he goes a little crazy. He goes into Chucky mode.
Correct.
And he gets profane and he ridicules and he dismisses and he's hard to deal with. But if you can talk back to him, as Rich Gannon could really talk back to him.
When he asks you what the bleep are you doing, you
Yeah,
say, I'm running the
doing
offense.
this.
Yes.
I'm doing this because I'm trying to do that.
Right.
Okay, I got you. Kyler's not going to be able to do that early on.
Right.
I'm just not sure it's a good coach-quarterback fit. Obviously, the best coach-quarterback fit would be Cliff Kingsbury. You'd have Big 12 Arizona style,
Right.
right? Because Cliff Kingsbury would he'd just work wonders with this.
Right.
He'd let him do exactly what he did at Oklahoma and what Cliff did as a branch of that Oklahoma offense in Lubbock, Texas.
Right.
So is that going to happen? Would they really pull the trigger on that? Again, they hired Cliff Kingsbury, which was shocking enough to me. Could Cliff talk that brain trust there, the owner, into, we just got to move on from Josh Rosen. Let's just auction him off to the highest bidder. Maybe we can get a first for him, and let's go with Kyler with the number 1 overall pick. It would jumpstart that franchise because you'd have a hot new coach, even though he has no coaching credentials NFL-wise or even really college-wise to speak of.
Right.
And yet, if you threw Kyler Murray in there, would that not reinvigorate that town and that team?
Yeah.
Okay, so is that going to happen? It's probably a long shot. Gruden is a real possibility, which would scare me for Kyler. But I tweeted about this last night just because it just struck me. If you put Kyler at quarterback and Saquon at running back and Odell at wide receiver in New York City, would it not be voltage? Again, your Vegas point is very valid because it is Showtown. But how about New York? Would this team not suddenly be the toast of New York again? Because it would be back page headlines every day.
Oh, they're going to win the headline page. But Skip, they'll be the offensive line help too because they can't be running for his life.
And it would also scare me in a different way. I'm not the biggest Pat Shurmur fan because he is old school. He is conventional, drop-back passer.
Yep.
He did help Andy Reid coach Donovan McNabb early in Philadelphia, but I don't know exactly how much he had to do with it because Andy did everything.
Right.
Andy was the coordinator and the head coach, right? So, again, I watched his
What about
kid-
his offense in Minnesota, Skip?
What's that?
They went to the NFC Championship game.
Okay, maybe, but could he adapt to this? Because his son, I watched his son all year at Vanderbilt, Kyle Shurmur. nice college player. I'm not sure he has a pro future, but he's just real conventional drop back passer, not very mobile, not very athletic. That's all Pat has really known. Could he adapt to Kyler? Because you got to let him do some of the things he does.
You got to let him do most 90% of what he does.
But here's what I love about Kyler, and I told you this early on this year, and I'm just watching this from TV. He has a supreme athletic confidence about him that borders on arrogance, but it's not hard to take. It's real. Remember, this kid never lost a football game in high school. He walks on the field like he belongs there. He plays the game like he knows he's good, and the defense also knows he's good. He's a playmaker who knows he can make plays. I just like the way he carries himself. It's completely the opposite of Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield was always the overachiever, the underdog, the fighter, chip on his shoulder, screw you, I'm going to get you, and he wants to talk back at you, and he wants to do this and do that, and he wants to throw a football and hit the TCU kid in the head. He wants to fight you playing football. And this kid is the complete opposite. He's quiet, and he carries himself with athletic dignity. And you've been around stars who just know they're good.
Oh, yeah.
This kid, he's little, but he is stout and he is good. And there's no moment too big for him. There's no stage too big for him. He would walk onto the New York Giants stage and he would own it. He would be just fine in New York.
Because I think the thing is, Skip, is that if the Raiders select this kid, even though it would be with their pick because they finished terrible, no matter what happened, if he turns out to be good, people 10 years, 15 years from now, they got him in that Khalil Mack trade, or they got him with Amari Cooper. It don't matter. It doesn't matter what you do with the other two picks. You get this kid, and this kid is as good as that people think he can be, or as good as he showed in college. Who cares? Who cares what you get for Khalil Mack in that slot? Who cares what you get for Amari Cooper? Because all is forgotten. You need that guy. It's nice to have any other position. But if you can hit, you can land Moby Dick with the quarterback position.
Yep.
Everything else is a piece of cake.
So wouldn't it be something if Kyler Murray went Eli Manning on John Gruden and told John Gruden, said, hey, nope, don't take me. If you take me, I'm playing for the A's.
Yeah.
I'm not going to play for the Raiders. I'll play for the A's if you take me.
Right.
I'm going to New York or I'm not playing football.
So you want to throw his little weight around. It ain't much about $165,
Right.
but throw it around.
I think he's more 195-ish.
Man, that man ain't no 195.
I think he's put together.
No. Jenny say no.
Pure muscle. I didn't say that.
Jenny say no.
Jenny said yes.
I think he's a strong kid.
He's still in that box. Well, tell the truth.
What?
Why you had to take your heels
I
off
did
and
some
talk to him.
research in an old photo from an interview with he and I, and it's pretty much just I'm 5'8" and 3/4.
Okay, and you look at eye to eye.
Got me a bit, but think about the cleats.
Yeah.
Did some
And you
research.
barefooted.
I was not barefoot on the
Nope.
field. That I can confirm.
Well, he would be the shortest starting quarterback in the history of the National Football
think?
League, but
He might be
He'd
one
be
of
a
the shortest
star.
players.
Yeah.
I don't know, Sproles might.
That's
got him.
okay. Someone's got to
Sproles
be
might
that
got
short
him.
guy. He doesn't mind. He's
Yep.
got the confidence. He doesn't
He can
play
play.
like he's a small kid.
Hey,
play.
don't worry about it. When
No.
he stand on about 14, 15 million guaranteed, he be real tall. He be about,
feeling
he
really
about
good?
7 foot tall.
Oh, okay. Is that how it works?
Yeah.
and if he goes in the first 5 or 6 picks, his money, he's
Yeah.
going to be just fine.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Saquon got 28 million fully guaranteed.
Yeah.
That's with the number 2 pick. So you normally get a 10% increase of what, and hold on. Now quarterback Skip, he's gonna probably get a 15% increase from where he went, where that spot was selected.
Yeah.
So he'll be all right.
All I
Fun to
know
talk
is
about.
if they land Kyler, my Cowboys are in some trouble playing those Giants because that would be
Your
sensational.
Cowboys in trouble regardless.
That would be
walking to him.
firepower.
We're gonna talk about that later. Walking to him there.
Do you know how happy Odell would be? Because the greatest thing Kyler did for Hollywood Brown is he can let you uncover because he can just escape, and he'll escape to throw more than to run many times. He'll buy time, and you can just run all over the place, and Odell would find himself wide open for lots of deep throws.
You're right about the star power, though. You mentioned the tweet. I saw how many people retweeted and responded.
Wow.
Everything we say about Kyler,
It just explodes.
He's got that
He's
star.
got
So
the it
So
factor.
you gonna pretend like Philly ain't make a decision yesterday.
okay.
Who?
The Eagles.
The Eagles,
We're not talking about the Eagles yet.
they're dead in the water. They're stuck with your guy.
We'll talk about them a bit
Limp
later.
it to him.
But first, we're
Okay,
talking about
limp it to
Antonio
him.
Brown. Is he too much of a diva? His former coach says yes, and we'll discuss that with James
This will be hot.
Harrison, who knows him well.
No mercy.
Antonio Brown's days in Pittsburgh might be over, and his reputation might be a turnoff for any potential suitors. New Bucs head coach Bruce Arians was the Steelers' offensive coordinator during AB's first 2 seasons in Pittsburgh, and yesterday he took a major shot at Brown. Arians said that AB plays as hard as anybody during games, but, quote, there's too much miscommunication, too much diva. I've heard so many stories. We're joined by FS1 NFL analyst, former Steeler, James Harrison. Good to have you back with us. James, do you have a problem with hearing this from Arians?
I don't have a problem with hearing it from Arians because when I look at it, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I'm up here to give my opinion. That's why I'm here. He's looking at it from what he's seen in 2010 when he was a rookie, and of course, leading up to now, people change. Whether that's for the good or for the better, that's up to that individual of what type of person they are.
Right.
So, with him saying this, it gives to other people, it gives some weight to it because he was around him.
Correct.
And with all of the situations that's going on around him right now, it leads to a reason that he may be right, he may be wrong, but I don't have a problem with him saying that.
I do, because he's not in the locker room. Normally, coaches don't take shots at other players' coaches, and that's what he did. He took a shot at him. Everybody changed. Do you actually think AB was going to be the same, had the same mentality as a 5th-round draft pick after being considered one of the 2 best receivers in all of football? Everybody changed. Now, this is the same, hold on. This is the same Bruce Arians that wrote in a book that says, Ben is not the same guy that you drafted. He said Ben is immature, as if the stories of his greatness of Big Ben had gone to his head. Okay. So everybody changes. Of course, Skip. Everybody's going to change. You're not going to be. I wasn't the same. Look, now my behavior, because of what I treated people the same way. But I didn't, my mentality, Skip, I thought a totally different way, because now all of a sudden, I wasn't that 7th-round skinny kid from Savannah State. I wasn't just a special teams player. I was one of the best players in the NFL. I felt I was the best player at my position. Antonio Brown feels the same way.
Sure.
There's not one player in the NFL that's come in as an say a 5th round, or you think Tom Brady's the same guy? So Tom Brady's the exact same guy that was a 6th-round draft pick his rookie year. No. Now he's golly gee whiz, oh my, that part has not changed. I wish it would.
Gotten better.
But it hasn't. Come on, Skip.
Has Tom Brady become a diva? I don't think he's become a diva.
Tom Brady, listen, I tell people this all the time, and I played with a great quarterback in John Elway. Quarterbacks have the biggest ego of any person that plays professional football. They just do the best job of hiding it. Wow. They've been coached in such a way that you can't display that. But I'm telling you, I'm not telling you what someone told me to say. I'm telling you what I know. That's fact.
Well, you got to have a big ego to play that position.
Well, so
it's
he a
hard,
diva.
man.
So he a diva.
Right?
So in other words, Jay, he a diva then, right?
No, I wouldn't. Well, like you said, a quarterback does a better job of concealing it because he is a leader and everyone is looking at him.
Yes.
And you kind of hold it inside, and you may take little pot shots here and there, say a little something here and there, but for the most part, you try and keep it within. A receiver, it's a team sport, but that is an individual position.
It is.
You want your catches, you want your numbers.
do.
So you get a different person, you get a different personality in that position. And you go from a guy, like he said, that was, drafted in the later rounds to now being the number 1 guy.
Yeah.
It changes a little.
I know Bruce Arians a little, and I do like him a lot because he just says whatever's in his head. He just speaks it, and most head coaches will not do that. But I do respect him for that. And I think you would agree. There's some diva operating here with Antonio.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Okay. So
No
is he
question.
right about what he said? Yeah. He said that was some unvarnished truth there
Yes.
about Big Ben, right? The problem with Antonio and Odell Beckham Jr. is, to me, they're both victims of social media in that it made them superstars, literally superstars on social, and it's hard at that position to live up to their superstardom on social media during football games because they can't control their fate.
Right.
It's a completely dependent position, as you know all too well.
Correct.
Some games you're going to get triple covered, and he's just not going to throw it to you, and you can't help it. There's nothing you can do to make it any better. So some games you're going to have numbers, and some games you're not going to have any numbers, and it's going to drive you literally. You're going to act crazy after the game because you know there's a whole social world out there saying, "What happened, Antonio?
What happened today? What about my fantasy points?
Yeah. Well, what happened to you?"
Fantasy has killed this game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Odell's the same way. And the first victim ever of social media was my friend Chad Ochocinco or Chad Johnson because it's almost like he invented social media. He took it over as the first diva receiver to do so. And I think we're going to have Chad on the show here in the next few days. I hope. I think we're trying to make that happen. But the point is, I'm going to ask him if he comes on, do you look back and regret your presence on social media because he owned it, and then after a while, it owned him?
Because the thing with what has happened, Skip, is that position has been coached and has convinced themselves that if I don't get my numbers, I didn't do anything today.
Right.
See, they don't look at it if the running back rushes for 200 yards and we did a great job in the run game. They don't look at it like that. Everything that their value to a football team, the value to themselves is tied up. I need 10 for $150 and 2 touchdowns. And if you only look at success through that prism, through that lens, well, you're going to set yourself up for failure. Because the likelihood of you getting 10 for $150 and 2 touchdowns every game is not very good.
No.
You have to look at it like, okay, today TD ran for 200. Me, Ed, and Rod, we might have had 15 catches between us, 80 yards, leading receiver might have had 80. We won, but we feel good that TD got 250. But if I just looked at it like, man, yeah, we won. TD had 190, but man, I only had 4 catches. Man, that's a pro job. You're going to set yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
So wide receivers have become the closest thing to NBA stars the NFL has, except Antonio can't dribble the ball up the court and decide I'm going to shoot this, right? So he can't. LeBron can control his fate a lot more than Antonio can, right?
And the quarterback, Skip, what? Everything that I do, all my success is tied to one player, the quarterback. He has to throw me the ball. And so in order for me to dance, in order for me to point first down, in order for me to take my helmet off and slide down the goal post, what must happen? I need to catch the football and get the ball into the end zone. So that's the only way you're going to know who I am. So even if your running back goes for 250 and I did a great job blocking, you're going to talk about him. You're not talking about me. So I need to do something. Now, if I ain't catching a bunch of passes, guess what else I can do to get you to notice me? Act a fool. I'll throw a water cooler here and there. I might squirt the official with some water. I get you to look at me. It might not be the way that I want to necessarily in a positive manner, but you'll talk about me.
This man right here is like a big brother to Antonio. Is that fair? Big
I would
brother,
say that, yeah,
mentor, big brother, whichever. I know him a little. We've had him on the show. I've had him on several different shows I've been on. And I like him because I think his heart is good. I think sometimes he loses perspective on things because of social media. Emotions. He got big emotions because they all do, all those. He's extremely gifted, man. Just extremely gifted. Have you seen any change in him over the last 3 years? Have you talked to him about that?
Me and Antonio, we talk. Even as recent as the last time he came to the house, we had conversations about other things, but we really didn't go into detail. With him and I, it's understanding of I'm going to tell you how I feel. He's going to tell me how he feels, and we can agree to disagree. But I spoke my piece. I told you how I feel about it. Rather it's right, wrong, or indifferent, and you told me yours.
And give us an idea. What would you tell him?
That's just it. That's a conversation that's in house between him and I. And I wouldn't want to speak on that unless that was something he went and spoke on himself first.
Let me ask you this: you are undrafted free agent.
Yeah.
Did you change?
Yes, but I didn't change as far as like my personality, my feelings about myself, how I felt going into games, how I felt about going against other players, and
gave you that confidence.
Gave me that confidence to but I didn't express that. Like I wasn't a vocal guy. I didn't go out and tell you what I was gonna do to you. I just did it. Different people express that confidence in different ways, And some people express it by going and just doing it. Some people express it by talking about it.
I'm a talker. I better talk.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
we
you've
know
been
So
that.
talking.
last quick
That's all you do is talk.
Last quick question. Antonio keeps talking about there's a big interview coming, and you guys posted that little video.
Me,
on
listen,
Instagram.
me and Antonio did not do an interview. That was just him at the house chilling, and it happened to be someone called and was like, Tomlin is about to do his interview.
Because he was on live.
Right.
You guys were.
Yeah, he turned his interview on. We turned the interview on, and basically it was like a little troll, you know. That's
It was a big troll.
I was going to
Yeah.
say, I mean, you as maybe a bigger troll than you guys intended it to be.
Does he have any big interview planned that you know of?
I don't know, but he has been saying that at some point in time he was going to, give his side if that became necessary.
I thought maybe you would be the interviewer.
No.
Well, it need to be necessary. You need to sit right on there with your seat.
He can
Where you're
join
sitting
us.
there right there.
That'd be fun.
right
That
here.
would work.
I'm available.
Tell
I
him
love
what's
those
going on.
interviews. Boy, let's hear from him. I want to hear his side.
him a call.
Soon. Okay.
Hit him
We'll
on
work
IG.
that. James, we would like to hear about one of your former coaches, Bill Belichick. Is he a bit overrated? I want your take on this coach. I know these guys. Discuss that.
No mercy.
Bill Belichick and Andy Reid have history against each other heading into Sunday's AFC Championship game. Belichick's teams have allowed at least 40 points 7 times in his career, and 3 of those were against Andy Reid, including the Patriots' 43-40 win in October. In fact, in 3 of the last 4 meetings between the two, Reid's Chiefs have scored at least 40. And don't forget, Belichick's Patriots gave up 41 points to the Eagles in last year's Super Bowl. We haven't forgotten that one around here. We are joined once again by James Harrison. You were on that Patriots defense. So when you think about Coach Belichick, is he overrated as a defensive coach?
I don't think he's overrated as a defensive coach. What he's doing with the talent that he has is great, to be honest with you. If you look at the Patriots defense, you got one Pro Bowler. It's really not anybody on that defense that you could point out and say, you know what, that's a playmaker, a difference maker. He could go out there on a 3rd down or whatever and get me a play that'll turn this game around.
Right.
So, with that being said, I think he's doing a great
Okay,
job.
so is it fair to ask, is he overrated as a personnel director, as a drafter, as an acquirer of talent? Because he runs the whole show. Is that his fault
He
that there's
does
no
run the whole
playmaker?
show.
He
Maybe-
picked you. He said, I need you. I need you to make one play for me, right?
Right.
Unfortunately, if the Eagles are scoring 41 points, one play isn't going to really make any big difference, right?
Well, 1 3rd down here or there could have made a big
could have.
difference in that. But,
Yeah.
that's neither here nor there. Like I said, I don't think he's overrated. I think he's doing a good job with the talent that he has. As far as drafting that talent, I don't know. Maybe it's, he had a guy that's in Cleveland right now as a linebacker that he ended
did.
up just, trading over to
Jamie Collins.
Yeah, to Cleveland.
Chandler Jones.
Yeah.
He didn't want to pay.
I don't know if it was he didn't really want to
He
pay.
didn't want to pay that market value because what Chandler Jones got,
And
Coach
Chandler
Belichick.
had some off-field
Yes.
issues. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But for me, Skip, it's just hard. The guy's been there for 20 years. That's 320 ball games, and he's given up 40.7 times. I think that's great. I think sometimes it's the same thing as that when you look at it, we go to Coach Saban, and he say, well, he's given up 40 times. But if you look at what he's been able to do, he's won 5 national championships. Coach Belichick has won 5 Super Bowls. See, Skip, I think when Coach Belichick, he has to get a particular type of a player because everybody can't play for him. Because you can't even check your ego at the door. You got to leave it home. Because if you check it at the door, there's a good chance you might go back and pick it up when you get inside. So you got to leave your ego at home to play for that man. Everybody can't play for him, Skip. He's looking for a particular type of an individual.
Exactly.
So,
And why is that? Because his system is the star.
yes,
Right?
yes.
He wants cogs for his system.
Not a whole lot of questions. Don't question him now because
Yep.
if you're like, well, Coach, why are we doing this? He said, look, we're going to play this coverage. You buzz the flat. You go hook. You do this.
But coach, if it
No.
no.
Hey, look,
doing
Jay,
that?
why you
No,
think-
no,
Coach,
I'm not gonna lie. You can. I've had questions and it's been explained to me. So it's not like
it.
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
hey, you're gonna do what I say because I said do it.
Right.
No, he gives you a rhyme and a reason and
He
why
did
he's
that
doing it.
because I've talked to a lot of guys like it was like they were questioning him and what he was doing.
Well, you made like question, like, I ain't gonna lie, like in the Super Bowl, I'm like, why didn't we just like give Butler a chance to like just like do something? Like,
Oh, you wanted
anything.
Malcolm Butler to
Like,
play.
yeah, just like after the first half, I'm like, something is better than nothing. Like, just give us 1 third down, 2 thirds, something. Stop.
Maybe you could have knocked down a pass or
Anything,
something.
Yeah. So I mean, but you know, that's.
But I don't think he's overrated as a defensive coordinator.
No.
He did get Gronk. Gronk's going to the Hall of Fame.
Some
He's
people-
elected Tom Brady.
Oh,
He's
you mean
going
as
to
a personnel
As a
director?
personnel director. I mean, he got 2 Hall of Famers. I mean, some people go, Skip, everybody ain't going to be Ozzie Newsome. Hit with Jonathan Ogden, hit with Ray Lewis, hit with Suggs, hit with Ed
I think
Reed.
he hit with Sony Michel.
Yes,
He did.
yes.
And I think he was about to hit with Isaiah Wynn. Remember, that was his tackle he took out of Georgia. And
Right.
he tore his knee up in training camp.
And he didn't know, he didn't know he had one of the Godfathers. He hit with Hernandez. He didn't know he had a Godfather on
Well,
his
he
team.
probably had an idea that was coming, right?
But he could make some plays, Skip. He was
Look.
unbelievable talent.
I appreciate the fact that you played for that man and he gave you a chance near the end of your career to go up there and make some plays for him. So you honor him because I think you considered it an honor to play for him. Is that fair?
I consider it an honor to have him give me an opportunity
Correct.
to not end my career the way they were trying to end it. In
Okay,
Pittsburgh,
well,
of course.
I don't have those ties or that connection. And obviously, I am a fan of the quarterback. I'm not a fan of New England, but I am a fan of the quarterback. And I still don't think the quarterback gets enough credit for what he's done to help save Bill Belichick's legacy over the last 3 or 4 years, because to me, he has become overrated as a defensive football coach. It's clear to me, and nobody wants to acknowledge this, that he is losing his fastball on the defensive side of the ball. And it's very clear to me that Andy Reid cannot wait to play against a Bill Belichick defense because he is shredding it. He is owning it. He is terrorizing the cogs on that defense on a consistent basis, not in 1 or 2 games, but over 4 games since Andy has been in Kansas City. Because all you got to do is look at those first numbers, because it's 41, 42, and 40 that he scored in 3 of the 4. And the other game was the playoff game after the 2015 season, early 2016.
Well, you got to understand, some people maybe have your number, you know? Maybe he has
he's got his number, and the
great
number is a
understanding
big
of what
4-0,
he's going to do,
you know?
you know?
Even in that playoff game, and remember, 3 of the 4 games were check down Alex Smith, and even he had Belichick's number, because if we just look at those 4 games, Kansas City is 27 of 53 on 3rd down in those 4 games. That's over 50%. So half the time, either check down Alex or this year Patrick Mahomes has had the football. Half the time they're going to convert on 3rd down. That's hard to beat, man, because you just can't get off the field if you keep doing that. They've had almost 100 first downs in 4 games. That's really hard to beat. And in that one playoff game that they lost 27-20, Kansas City lost, they just dominated every stat. 12 of 20 on 3rd down. They ran 83 plays to only 56 for New England. They had the ball 38 minutes to 22 minutes, but they couldn't cash. So I give you the red zone. I give you that. They did the bend, but you don't quite break. And yet that game came down to an onside kick with 1 minute and 15 seconds left, and Gronkowski was the one who recovered it. But if I look at the big picture, it's torch city every time, including the second half this year on October 14th at Foxborough on Sunday night. Patrick Mahomes scored 31 points in the second half. That's pathetic. That's not Bill Belichick.
But look at what Coach Belichick is going up against. He's got a guy that's going to win the MVP. He has a tight end that's first-team All-Pro. He has Tyreek Hill, who's first-team All-Pro at the flex position. And he had a running back in Kareem Hunt that led the league in rushing. Skip, when you have that kind of firepower, it's going to be very difficult now. Like I said, they got 40 points against Coach Belichick, but they also got 44 other times, too.
Okay,
they
but
averaged 35.
Are we including check down Alex in this equation? Because they didn't get 40 against everybody.
No, they didn't, and that's why Andy Reid made the move. He needed to know, like, hold on, wait a minute. With all this firepower, I should be able to do this more than on one occasion.
I know, but 3 out of those 4 games were check down Alex, and they still just dominated that defense.
3. Remember, you said the divisional game, they didn't get that. They lost 27.
Well, but I mean, they dominated every stat. I mean, they just tore them apart.
The first game.
Look at the time of possession,
the first
38
game,
to 22.
Tom Brady turned the ball over 3 times, Skip.
Okay, that was just a disaster.
Okay. So let's throw that one out. Let's just go to the last 2. The Thursday night and here. You look at what happened. Tyreek, Kelsey, Travis Hunt, Alex Smith. All those guys went to the Pro Bowl. This year, Mahomes, Pro Bowl. Tyreek, All-Pro. Kelsey, All-Pro. Mahomes, All-Pro.
Bill Belichick, genius.
Hold on.
Or maybe not. I don't know.
You don't think so?
Well, I'm not lately. I don't.
So you're going with Kansas City then, is what you're saying?
No, I'm not going. I'm going with number 12. I love number 12 because I show you every time. Okay, when Patrick Mahomes scores 31 in the second half, Tom Brady threw for 182 in the fourth quarter and outscored Kansas City 16-14 on his own. So he overcame the lack of defense, which he's been doing all year long. You remember they got torched by Blake Bortles. They got torched at Detroit. And yet he kept bouncing back and bouncing back. And
if they don't turn the ball over, it's very difficult to beat the Patriots if they don't turn the football over, if they don't help you. Because normally they coach you into mistakes and help you beat yourself.
Well, so, look at what happened in your Super Bowl that you played last year.
The difference was one turnover.
Okay, but you gave up 41 points, and Tom Brady threw for an all-time playoff record 505.
Yeah.
He only completed 28 passes. That's 18 yards of completion.
But if you don't stop the run, James, you can attest to this. If you can't stop a team's run, and all of a sudden you have to drop an extra defender down, and they play action you asking for trouble, especially when you got a guy that can run a sub 10 flat 100 meters in Tyreek.
Yeah.
Okay, so take all the other firepower out of it. In those 4 games, Kansas City's averaged 155 yards rushing a game.
Jamal Charles was, before he started tearing his knee up, Jamal Charles was kind of special.
Well, so was Bill Belichick once upon a time.
Skip,
well, he was. No, he was. He was the greatest
so I
ever.
just want to make sure I'm hearing you
Yeah,
correct. So
you're hearing me exactly
He's
correct.
supposed to, every great player, Coach Belichick, because he's a genius, supposed to shut him out.
No, but you should be respectable. This is not even respectable. This is...
Skip, there's 7 games out of 320.
What 7 games?
He's given up 40 points 7 times in 320 games.
But how many of them have come lately?
It doesn't matter, Skip.
1, 2, 3, 4. 4 in the last 3 years.
How many in those playoffs have they given up 40?
Well, Super Bowl.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ask Aaron Rodgers about that. His team gave up 51.
That wasn't the Super Bowl, but it was a playoff game.
Exactly. So how many times you going to give up 40?
Nobody ever accused Mike McCarthy of being a defensive genius, right?
They did, what you call him? Dom Capers. They said he was a genius.
Never.
He's a master of his own bliss, I thought.
No, he was never in Bill Belichick's category.
Ain't nobody there.
Huh?
Ain't nobody there.
Well, he used to be there by himself.
First of all, the only guy that's in this conversation as far as head coaching is Lombardi. There's 2 people at the coaching table.
It's wrong.
2 people.
You left
2
out the key
people.
one.
I ain't leave out nobody.
Bill Walsh.
No.
Case closed. Game over.
Hey. Only 2 people got a key.
No.
You want to talk about inventing an offense and picking stars? That guy could do it like nobody's ever done it. Bill Walsh.
2 people got a key to the coaching.
I'll take Bill Walsh over Bill Belichick any day or night. Any day.
2
Trust
coaches
me.
got
It's
keys
over.
to the coaching
It's over.
bench.
You're
Coach
done.
Lombardi and
You're
Coach
done.
Belichick.
You're done.
Lock the
Sorry.
key.
It's
James,
over.
good to have
Master
you.
key.
That's it.
Thank you for
Master
joining
key.
us today. How worried should the Lakers be about LeBron's injury? I mean, Shannon, we got to talk about
They
this.
should be worried.
I feel
Don't
like
worry
there's
at all.
a lot
Talk
more
to
to
him.
say. We'll go there
Find
with
out.
Chris Broussard next.
No mercy.
Back to the Lakers.
Yes, I did.
They beat the Bulls last night. We'll talk to them about it Friday. In what Lonzo Ball called a must-win. Lonzo had 19 points. Kyle Kuzma, Brandon Ingram added 16 each. The Lakers are now 4-7 without LeBron. He's supposed to be reevaluated today, but his agent, Rich Paul, said LeBron will definitely miss the next 2 games on the road against the Thunder and Rockets. We are joined by FS1 NBA analyst Chris Broussard. Chris, are you surprised LeBron is still out with that groin injury?
Well, first, I've got a little news. I was in contact with Rich Paul this morning, and he told me if this were the playoffs, that LeBron would be playing.
Okay.
So that tells you the severity at this point. He said he's day-to-day from now on. But they're not going to rush him back, which I think is smart in the regular season. So he'll be back when he's 100%. Here's the thing. The surprise element is we've never seen LeBron go through this. Like the most he's ever missed in terms of games in the season is 13, his first year back in Cleveland. And then other than that, it was 8 games was the max in a year. And most of that was rest, or a lot of it was rest. So from that vantage point, it may be surprising. But I said on here last week or a couple weeks ago, a grade 2 strain of the groin, 3 to 6 weeks. It was 3 weeks yesterday. I know you don't want to hear it, Skip, but technically if he's out another 3 weeks, which I don't think will be the case, but if he was out another 3 weeks, he would still be within that window, that timetable for this injury. So
Back next Thursday.
here's the one question you have to have if you're a Lakers fan. Is this injury itself and then the timetable for the recovery, the length of the recovery and the healing, is that related to the age and the wear and tear? Because he's 34, he's in his 16th year, he's played the 4th highest amount of playoff games in NBA history. So he's got a lot of mileage on his body. So that's the one thing you might be concerned about. But other than that, I actually think this has been good for the Lakers. I thought, we talked about it, this was the perfect time in the season. If LeBron were going to be hurt, you had a bunch of cupcakes on your schedule, and they lost to most of them.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
And now you know what you have or what you don't have.
Yes.
So we, you know,
Skip.
there was beginning to be some.
Don't tell me.
People were thinking hesitation.
Looking right at
like,
you.
I don't want to give up Kyle Kuzma. I mean, should we really? If we have to give him up to get AD, should we? Now it's like, yeah. Look, love to keep Kyle Kuzma, but if he has to be in the package for Anthony Davis, so be it. Because what you have, and I was with you. I thought these guys would come out and show something without LeBron. And what they showed me is that Lonzo and Ingram don't bring the fire and intensity every night. When Lonzo wants to play, he can play. Last night.
He did.
When he's aggressive, he's effective.
Yep.
But who knows when he's going to be aggressive?
I agree with
by
that.
Sunday.
They're not leaders.
What I'm supposed to do by Sunday? He
That's what I'm saying. Now, Kuzma and Hart, I like their attitude. I think they got heart. I think they're dogs, but they just, you know, they're good players, but not great. So I think this is told the Lakers, this is what we have, and if we want to win a championship, then we better go get more.
Go ahead, Skip. I'll let you go.
You're going to let me go?
Yeah, I'll let you go.
Here's what I don't understand. I'm going to ask that we could show this again. LeBron James' tweet of December 26th. I want to see it again. Please.
Good joker, yeah.
Can we put it up?
You
We
love
still
this
have.
tweet.
There it is.
There it is.
Dodged a bullet, tweets LeBron James with an exclamation point. Sheesh, instead of that other bad word. Then praying hands to the Almighty above, exclamation point. Hashtag back in no time. He's Iron Man. I'm thinking 3 days, 4 days,
Stop
a week?
it.
I don't know.
Yeah, come on.
Listen, okay, I run distance, but I have trouble with my groin, and I have a whole lot of trouble with my hamstring. And the hamstring is always worse than the groin. If you tell me hamstring, I'm with you, because it can plague you for.
They tied together, Skip. You need to get that
I know,
taken care of.
I know all about them. And yet the groin will heal faster than the hamstring will, to me, unless you just rip it off the bone. And I saw Tavon Austin do that earlier this year for the Cowboys, and he never was quite right. But when I see dodged a bullet, I think he just tweaked it. It was starting to pull. It was a minor pull. He took an MRI. This is after he took the MRI. So he actually saw the 3D view of the muscle, and he said, or they told him, it's not all that bad. You just tweaked it.
Maybe he thought it was like a hernia, a sports hernia or something like that. That's the same
Okay,
area,
well,
you know?
then why would you tweet dodged a bullet?
Dodged the bullet.
Because-
could have been 8 weeks.
yeah, it could have
been
been
2
worse.
months. Could have been 3
Remember,
months.
Steph was out, what?
3 weeks.
3 weeks with the same injury.
Steph is fragile, man.
The
I mean,
ankles.
he's always got something. And when he
lot younger, though.
tweaks something, it's a month, man. If he tweaks his knee, it's a month or it's 6 weeks,
Yep.
right?
He'll be back, Skip.
This is Iron Man, and I start to wonder, is he setting up, with his help of his advisor, Rich Paul, the narrative of, oh, I'm glad that he's quietly glad his team is struggling. It's getting exposed without him. So everybody's saying, can't wait until LeBron comes back. And when he does come back, I think he's sized up the Western Conference. And even though we saw some firepower from Golden State last night, we have also seen Golden State just stink it up at home regularly this year, where they got blown out and embarrassed at home. Are they still vulnerable? We're going to do a whole topic about that in just a moment. But yes, the bottom line is, sure, they're vulnerable. What happened to the best team in the West last night? At home, Denver gave up 51 in the first quarter. Isn't the opponent supposed to be gasping for air after a quarter,
Yeah,
right?
but-
51?
But when Steph
Really?
shooting from Durango
Okay,
and
all right.
Grand Junction,
Okay,
Right.
you're right, but that happened, and they were 6th in defensive efficiency. Denver was going into this game
he's
last
shooting over
night.
the defense.
Okay, fine. Oklahoma City got embarrassed in Atlanta last night. Just got embarrassed. So, again, LeBron's watching this very closely, and he's thinking, you know what? It's not undoable because now you can go on the MVP role. He's doing it with nothing. He's doing it with mirrors. These kids in L.A. aren't good enough. He doesn't really have that much help. He doesn't have that much supporting cast. Is he not
Are we
set
lying?
up? Is he not set up to make an MVP
Would that be a
run?
lie?
To your point, I got to check it out, but I don't think anybody's won the MVP with missing like more than 15 games or so. So he has to play a certain.
Okay, but
if
this
he went
is
on
LeBron James
if he went on a historic run, like say he takes them from
8 to
8th,
4.
9th, or to 4th, and the record is incredible, then he could be the
Well,
aberration.
it's doable to
But
get back. They were 4th. He could get them back.
They
to
were.
fourth.
This is helping his MVP race.
It
There's no
No,
question.
It is.
It's helping.
So think about what happened in the first part of the season. They did beat Denver at home, right? They won at Portland, and they beat Portland at home. They beat Minnesota at home. That when Minnesota looked like they had firepower. They won at Sacramento. Sacramento's pretty good this year, right?
Beat Golden State.
They beat Utah. I'm getting there. And then, of course, they beat the Spurs. They won at Memphis. It's not easy. And then they just wiped out Golden State on Christmas Day. And that was the last we saw LeBron James. That was 127 to 101. What a fitting, perfect way to exit stage left and then to wait a month and come back after 14, 15 games. I think he'll come back for the Phoenix game because that would be the perfect way to jump right back into the water.
Because they'll probably lose the next 3.
We don't do
without
cream.
question.
We don't do cream puffs.
Yeah.
We coming back next Thursday against Timberwolves.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, some people think
Against
they're
them.
cream puffs.
They are.
Yeah.
That's why we come back.
Yeah.
Against them.
I think it'll be Phoenix because that's the perfect way
No,
to ease
Timberwolves.
back into it, get your triple-double.
Jimmy Butler already said they soft, so we gonna come back against them.
Okay, well, we'll see. But I think it's perfectly set up for LeBron James to win MVP this year. And so far, it's been James Harden. I don't think it's even been close. That's just me because what he's doing with No Capella and obviously CP3 and Eric Gordon is
Oh, yeah,
sensational.
unbelievable. But O'Brien said, watch me.
Yeah.
Watch me
He's
work.
about to say that.
Watch
after
me
a
work.
month. Yep.
Work.
Dodged a bullet. I don't know. Maybe
He dodged a bullet, Skip.
Yeah.
Didn't have a problem with his
He
agent
said
thing.
he heard it pop. So he might have been thinking, oh, this is really serious.
Yeah. Everybody just some old scar tissue build up. You
Well, a
know.
month to me for LeBron James is really serious.
You're not factoring in the wear and tear and the age.
Well, because he won't.
The
you
injuries
factor
take
in?
longer
Yeah.
to heal the older
so
you
With
he's
his age?
showing his age.
Well, no, what happens is, this is what I believe. I believe if you come back too soon from an injury, the re-injury is worse than the original injury, and it'll keep you out longer than the original injury was supposed to. So why rush it? We ain't got nothing but time, Skip Bayless. See, we just don't play for 1 year. The way LeBron and I, when we talk, I like, Bron, he's like, huh? What you talking about, Shay?
So
I said, are you playing for 1 year or you playing for 3 years? He said, I want 3.
I don't know if he should get
Yeah.
advice
Yeah.
from you.
Did you ask him if he's quietly happy that they've been losing games?
I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell
You'll
you
let
what
us
he's
know?
say. Nah, bro, I don't like to see my brother suffer. He's like, if somebody's suffering, I like to be in that fire with him. Because, you know, I bring him out of that thing.
Well, I'm sure LeBron paid attention to the Warriors last night and the statement performance we
Yep.
saw from them.
We
You
already
think he
did
was
that
watching that
Yep.
one?
They don't want no more.
You're not worried about it? Okay, let's discuss exactly what they
They don't want
did.
no more
It
us.
was pretty special. Next.
No mercy.
Well, a different champ. The Warriors showed the Nuggets and everyone else why they are the defending champions last night. They scored an NBA record 51 points in the first quarter. Blew out Denver to take over the #1 spot in the West. Steph Curry and Klay Thompson scored 31 points each. Kevin Durant added 27. After the game, KD was asked if they were trying to send the Nuggets a message, and he said, quote, "They know who we are." We're joined once again by Chris Broussard. Chris, the Warriors have had their moments this year. They've had some ups, they've had some downs. Was this the real Warriors we saw last night?
Well, last night, even for the Warriors, that was an aberration. 10 threes, 51 points in a quarter. But what they showed was, look, when we come close to our ceiling, nobody stands a chance.
0.
I disagree, Skip. What you said last night, they are not vulnerable to anybody else. If the only team that can beat them are themselves.
Well, that's true.
If it's ego, if there's infighting, if there's an injury, that's the only thing that can stop this team. And the scariest thing is this. Draymond isn't shooting the ball well. 24% from three, which is his worst since his rookie year. Wow. If he's a threat from three, because that's what you do defensively against him, you leave him alone and try to focus on everybody else. If he starts hitting that three at a decent clip, it's really over. And then Friday, they get back DeMarcus Cousins against the Clippers. And
here in LA.
Right. Yeah. I've always admitted he's got great talent. I haven't been a fan of his game. I haven't thought he's played winning basketball. But I don't think he's going to be able to screw it up. It's either going to work terrifically, or I don't think he'll go in there with a bad attitude or anything, but if he did, or if it didn't work, they could just cut him. It's not like they need him. But here's what he brings. He's a very good three-point shooter for his size. He is a very good passer.
Very good.
He can post. You mentioned rebounding. Their offense, they got the three-pointers obviously on lock. They got the mid-range with Clay and Durant on lock. They drive to the basket, penetrate, and score. They get backdoor cuts and layups. The one thing they don't have is the great post player. And now you bring in Cousins for that. I mean, if it works, if he fits in swimmingly, then it is really a wrap.
Look, this is what we know about the Warriors. If they play their best and any other team in the NBA play their best, they get swept. It's that simple. Now, like you said.
Even LeBron's team?
Skip. Now, they're not going to shoot 10 threes in the first quarter. They're not going to set an NBA record, 51 points in the first quarter. That's an anomaly. But look at what they did. I mean, Steph, Clay, and KD, they made 18 threes. What am I supposed to do with that? What you supposed to do with that? Huh? How?
Defend it.
Yo, when the man shooting from Grand Junction or Pueblo, you gonna guard that, huh? Well, keep guarding him. Okay, he takes the ball half court. You guard it. You picking him up at half court. Good luck with that. Skip, look, there's nothing you can do with that. This is an anomaly, but it just goes to show you they're not vulnerable. They played their best. Draymond had 4 points. He's plus 41 with 4 points.
You know why? Because he had 13 assists.
Whew. Yep.
Yeah, when they shoot the ball like that.
Yeah.
I mean, Clay played 25 minutes and had 31 points. Steph played less than 30 minutes. He had 31 points. KD played less than 30 minutes. He had 27 points. I believe if you look at them, they got 3 of the top 5 shooters or 3 of the top 6 shooters, at least 1 through 5. I would say Steph is the greatest. Now, Clay is in the top 5.
No question.
I believe KD, he's 5 or 6. So you got 3 of the best shooters in the history of the game on one team in their prime. And somebody's supposed to dethrone that. How?
Who's the best player on the planet, you tell me?
You keep telling me best player, best of these 3 guys to players. You ain't got no S's on mine. I'm just singular. But you got all these plurals on yours.
What is LeBron James? Greatest driver of the basketball ever. Greatest attacker of the basket ever. Unstoppable when he just puts his head down and goes to the basket. I've never seen anything like it. Now, you can put him on the free throw line, and he's not great from the free throw line, but it's just impossible, even in his 16th season, to keep him from the rim.
Right.
Because even in those first, 20-odd games, he was still just unstoppable. He looks good. His body looks good. If he gets the groin right, he'll still be unstoppable at the rim. They don't have anybody who can do that on a regular basis. So this team
he can't
still
drive the ball every time.
Okay, but this team still does
Who can
live.
stop him?
No, they don't have a driver like that. They don't have, because listen, you know and I know there are nights when that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It goes the opposite way, where it's contagious bad, where Steph misses his first 2, then Clay misses his first 3, and then Kevin misses his next 4, and I saw it at Utah one night, a month ago, where they just couldn't buy a basket. They live and they die, not just from 3, to your point, because they do shoot 2-point jump shots, but they live and die on the outside shot. And I'm not going to give this up, because I still say deep down it's a troubled team, because I don't think Kevin and Draymond will ever quite get over that. I just don't. Can they work around it? Can they coexist? Yeah, most nights. But there were times early this year, you remember, they got blown out at home by Milwaukee and Oklahoma City and Toronto, and the Los Angeles Lakers blew them off their home floor. Not even close. Wipeouts, 20-point games. Well, it's that same team that did that last night. They got challenged last night because all of a sudden Denver was ahead of them in the standings. So they go in there and say, let's show them something. Watch this. And they showed the whole NBA world we are capable of that. Okay, now you're going to try to blend in DeMarcus Cousins. I love DeMarcus Cousins. I said on the old show before that draft, I'm taking DeMarcus Cousins over John Wall, and everybody went crazy. You're out of your mind. I'm not out of my mind. I'd still take him over John Wall. As much as John Wall has impressed me, he figured out how to shoot the ball a little bit. He
ain't Boogie Cousins, though.
He's not.
They're both similar. They both,
Okay.
neither one of them's one big.
Okay, they
put
have
up
not
numbers.
won big,
Right.
but on, I'll take 7 feet of that kind of talent because he can pass the basketball.
Right,
He
right.
knows how to play their style
good passer.
if he can do it. What he doesn't do yet, he doesn't defend. So can you put him in pick and rolls? Can you get him on skates? Yeah, you probably can. So it won't be the smoothest transition to try to figure out how to play with DeMarcus. So they'll go through another period of upheaval. Can we make this work? And to your point, if it doesn't, they'll just say, okay, because Kevon Looney last night had his best game. That was his career high, 12 rebounds. So can they get away with a Looney, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Boogie on it. Boogie with a bum leg is better than Looney. But you
Okay.
got no chance to beat the Warriors. If you let them hit threes like this.
Okay, but they don't always
Okay,
do that.
but
They
you
just
can't
don't.
let them out-rebound you by 14.
okay.
Because you
your
get them
point-
second opportunities.
What,
They
your
just
point,
shell-shocked Denver. They just blew them off their floor. 51 points?
well, talking to
What-
people in the league, to your point, they're going to attack Cousins.
Yeah.
And now you got two people to attack defensively, Steph
That you
and
do.
Cousins, right?
Yeah.
To get them, you want to try to get them in pick and roll. So that could work against them. But you said it. They were motivated last
They
night.
were.
Those blowouts early in the season, I think some of it probably had to do with the Draymond,
It
KD
did.
mix-up. But some of it was just lack of motivation. And they battled with that last year. Like the regular 82 games when we know it's all about May and June. Every night come playoff time, they're going to be motivated. And so
Especially if they get the Lakers in the first round.
that's the
Well,
truth.
they ain't gonna get played.
That's who the Lakers need to avoid. Anybody else, I'm with you, Skip. Anybody else, you're not scared.
Yeah, see,
They're
got
not
the-
scared.
Right.
Hey,
You could
as
finish second.
As deep as the West is,
Right.
The Lakers with LeBron, they can play with these other teams. Because I
That's how
already
they
saw
should
them do
look at
it. I saw it.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, the Nuggets were shell shocked. They was like, oh, they ain't gonna miss, and then they missed the shot, and then the Golden State go grab the rebound. But I mean, come on, man. What you gonna do with this? You shoot 54% from three, Skip.
Did you see who made 7 of 7 in the first quarter? That 7-foot monster did. Kevin
Yeah.
Durant, the best player on the planet,
Oh,
made
your
7
guy.
of 7.
I mean, Clay.
7 of 7?
I mean,
What are you gonna do
Clay
with
5 of
that?
8, Steph 8.
Shannon?
He was wide open.
Let's just think about it. What you call him just hit 11 threes the other night. Steph, he just hit 11 threes. Now he comes back, follows that up. He was off last night, only hit 8. What you gonna do with that?
But we keep seeing these aberration nights where Clay against the Bulls that night in
Right.
Chicago. I mean, that's just insane. Like,
It's crazy.
okay.
Well, they don't really have their occurrences like James Harden. They don't normally go 1 for 17 from the three-point line. They might shoot some clunkers, but they don't do 1 for 17.
Yep. Well,
The Warriors agree with you, Skip. The altitude, no big deal for them.
No big
Yeah,
deal.
It's not going to
Yeah.
affect them. Definitely
I
not
didn't
what we
see
saw.
any Warrior
know what?
winded last
No one was winded.
I didn't see anybody wave out.
Well, you just walk up the court and shoot the
None
ball.
of
and
them
go
played 30 minutes except Draymond.
That's a good point. You can spread it out. Good to have you,
Yeah.
Chris, always. So, what is next for Nick Foles? Is he done in Philly? We'll discuss next.
No mercy.
Well, the Eagles' season is over, but they have a big decision to make. And yesterday, Doug Peterson said Carson Wentz is the quarterback going forward, but Wentz has been injured the last 2 years. Nick Foles can become a free agent after leading the Eagles back to the playoffs, but their season ended Sunday with an interception off the hands of Alshon Jeffrey. Foles said he'd like to be the starter, but bringing him back will cost the Eagles $20 million. Shannon,
Yes.
should Philly move on from Nick Foles?
Yes,
Why did you hesitate?
because I don't know how they're going to do it, but he needs to be out of Philly.
Let him go.
Yeah,
go.
you had a
Whoa,
little
whoa, whoa,
sigh
whoa,
there.
Whoa, whoa, hold on. First of all, he's our property.
Huh.
And I'm not going to just release him, okay? I'm going to do what's in the
So now
best
you-
interest.
now
I'm gonna
you're
do what's in
running
be-
the Eagles.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
he
do- I'm
is.
going to do what's
Yeah.
in the best interest of the Philadelphia Eagles, Skip Bayless.
Okay.
So just because you want us to release him and let him go
Well,
on the street.
do you not have enough faith in
Yes, we got faith, but if we can get something for him, yeah, I might throw this old rocking chair away. But if I can put it in my yard for $10 and somebody buy it and take it off my hands,
So you
that's
said
what I'm going to do.
Nick Foles is an old rocking chair.
There you go.
Perfect
Yeah.
Yeah,
example.
look, Wentz is the future. He's 26 years old. He's on a rookie contract. He was not healthy. He was on pace. I believe he would have won the MVP in his second year as a starter had he not gotten injured.
Yep.
You believe that also. Skip, in the last 3 quarters against New Orleans, 10 of 22, 88 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 points. He had 10 touchdowns, 8 interceptions this year. That's what Nick Foles had. Now, when Nick Foles start this year, the Eagles average 22 points a game. When Carson Wentz start, 22 points a game. Nick Foles got really lucky. He won a game in which they scored 16 points against the Bears, and they scored.
That's the number 1 defense in football in Chicago in a playoff game.
I don't care.
Yeah.
If you're what you say you are, you should score.
Well, what happened when Carson Wentz played Dallas this year?
Well, let me ask you a question.
What happened?
If you don't mind
Twice.
Me asking, if you don't mind
Twice.
Me asking, walk it to him. Wentz went up against the number 1 defense in the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh.
And what did he put up? 28.
Probably got hurt. That's probably what happened.
You know what?
Well, he's always getting hurt. Is that when he got his back fractured?
And against the Atlanta Falcons in week 1, they scored 18 and they won that ball. Look, the Eagles can't skip. They can't give him $20 million. They're already going to be, it's projected they're going to have the worst
just
caliber.
cut bait. Move on. Open the door for Walker to him to walk out there and
Well,
do
we don't
it.
need to do that. Look,
Huh?
all Dougie P did was state the obvious. I mean, he didn't tell us anything we didn't know. We knew what was going to happen. Everybody knew what was going to happen except you. And because you such an Eagles hater, because they have a Super Bowl in the last 10 months and you guys don't have one in the last 20 years. And you still upset about that.
I'm not upset about that. I just saw with my own 2 eyes that Nick Foles plays quarterback for Philadelphia better than Carson Wentz ever played
What about the
quarterback
14
for Philadelphia. Which game?
Last game, the last time you saw him, you said your eyes good, right?
Oh, yeah. I saw
13.
him driving deep into New Orleans territory and hitting Alshon Jeffrey with a seminal moment pass that went right through his hands. And it might be either the best or the worst thing that ever happened to your man Carson Wentz. W-I-N-C-E.
Walk it to
Ouch.
him.
Right? Yeah, because something happened right there because either you got taken off the hook, not by Nick Foles. He didn't throw it to Marshawn Lattimore. He threw it to Alshon. It went right through his hand.
What about them other
It
two
was a
picks? What
shocking
about the other
moment.
pick?
There's just one other pick.
What about the
it was
other
a good throw, I thought. He's up 14-0 in that game.
They scored 14 points in the
Okay.
first quarter and 0 the
What
rest
did
of the
I
game.
show you? Over the last 9 games, New Orleans has the second best defense in football to Chicago's. So what do we see on the resume here? We see Nick Foles, 68 touchdowns to 33 interceptions. That's really good.
Well, he's aided by the 27-2 Skip Bayless.
And you always said 27-2 with under
Chip Kelly.
Chip Kelly. Then you say, oh, he went elsewhere and he was a disaster. Guess who his head coach was
Who was
for
it?
1 year in St. Louis? It was the quarterback killer, Jeff Fisher.
Okay.
Who has ever been able to play quarterback for Jeff Fisher? He's harder to play quarterback for than John Gruden is. Am I right?
Yep.
So that's just aberration. Just wipe it off the slate.
Okay, but let me ask you a question. Why and how was he allowed to go to the Rams? If he was what you said he was in Philly, how did he ever get out of
What,
there?
he played a playoff game against Drew Brees, and he put him in position. He drove the ball with 4 minutes left down for the touchdown that put them ahead.
Okay, so what
and
happened
then
to-
Drew Brees drove it the rest of the time. He ate the whole rest of the clock up and got a walk-off field goal for Shane Graham.
What happened to the rest of the
Okay.
years that he was in Philly?
Well, let's look at what he just did. He beat the defending NFC champs last year in the Atlanta Falcons,
Yes.
obviously. Then he beat the number 1 defense in all of pro football, your Minnesota Vikings, obviously in Philadelphia. Then he hung 41 on the genius Belichick in the Super Bowl.
And who was the quarterback for Belichick?
He didn't outplay him.
He outgunned him.
Well, he didn't outgun him. 373 to 505. I think Brady pretty much outgunned
Yep.
Nick Foles.
Nope.
But Nick Foles was the MVP, and he deserved to be the MVP. Then this year, he goes to Chicago and beats the number 1 defense. It took Cody Parkey's weird, bizarre
Oh, yeah.
doink.
And then he
field goal.
go on a press tour.
Yeah. And then he's driving for what I thought. I'm just sitting back in my living room saying, this is it. It's Foles magic again. He's driving deep into New Orleans. You know what was coming.
Okay.
21 to
Well, be
20
honest.
Philly
Okay,
was
Skip
coming.
Bayless,
Yeah,
be
it
honest.
was.
Why were you rooting so hard for Philly?
I like Nick Foles.
No,
He's won me
you
over.
don't. You wanted Philly to win. You wanted Dallas. You was hoping Dallas win, so Dallas would get a whole
No,
playoff
but
game.
by then, that was
I
off,
know.
The, off
It was.
the boards. You
It
know,
was.
that was over.
It would have been fun to see, though,
I would
had
have been
that
rooting.
interception
I would have
not
been rooting for the Eagles. I was not.
You got it in for walking to 'em.
Hey, I don't have it in for. I just don't
He's
buy
the better.
him. I don't buy him.
He's the better of the NFC East quarterback.
Oh, stop.
And he's the same
He's
age.
not better than Dak Prescott.
Yes, he is.
Every time he plays Dak Prescott, bad things happen to Carson Wentz.
No, it
He
doesn't.
lost to him twice this year.
Okay, he beat
How
y'all
can you
twice
do
last
that?
year.
Oh, stop it.
Beat
Yeah,
the brakes
what
off
happened
y'all.
when he was a rookie? Bad things happened.
Hold on a
Yeah.
second.
Well, I'm just saying. I know what my eyes tell me. Nick Foles, and again, maybe he goes somewhere else and he's not as good.
Right.
But in Doug Peterson's offense, Frank Reich helped some last year, but whatever that offense is, it really suits him. It fits him.
It does.
You know it in your heart of hearts. You watch him operate, and
Yeah,
you say he plays quarterback for that team
in
better
other
than
words-
the other guy
so
plays
in other words,
quarterback.
while you saying just release him, if I'm a team, it should be buyers beware.
Okay, I know what
Because-
I would do. If I ran the Eagles, I would trade Carson Wentz.
No,
I would call-
no, we're going to do you one better.
I
We're gonna
don't
trade-
trust
we're
his
gonna trade
health.
Foles.
Okay, well, you
Nick
can try.
Foles is getting traded.
Yeah.
So
I
what
would
you
just
think about
let him
that?
go. Just let him go.
I think we
just
should-
clear the deck.
I think Dallas should
If
pick
you
up
try
Nick
to
Foles.
trade him, maybe you don't get the right.
I think Nick
combination.
Foles should go to Dallas.
Stop it. We don't need a
Whoa, why you don't?
Yeah, and I got to knock on
not-
wood, but our quarterback is durable as opposed to your
when is your
quarterback who is
quarterback-
not.
who-
How many times has he been hurt? What do you have, a fractured wrist at North Dakota?
When is your
wherever
quarterback?
it was?
Been unlucky.
Okay, when is your quarterback outgunned a Super Bowl MVP?
Well, probably several times. Aaron Rodgers, he's outgunned him
Lost
3
to
Given
times.
you that one before.
Lost.
3 times.
Jimmy Butler
Lost.
and the Sixers go a little too
Lost.
far last night. My opinion, yes.
No, not far enough.
No mercy.
Time for our final topic of the day. Jimmy Butler and the Sixers crushed the Wolves by 42 last night. He had a messy divorce from Minnesota, and after the game, Butler and Joel Embiid both appear to troll the Wolves. Butler posted this image with the caption, "Looking right through the past to the future." And then Joel Embiid posted this. "It was an honor to be part of the third stringers and get a win against real NBA starters." That was a reference to Butler's infamous blow-up at practice with the Wolves when he played with the bench players. You know, a lot of history there. So, Shannon, do you like the trolling from these guys?
Love a good troll.
Stop.
man.
No.
Joel Embiid's one of the best at it.
Yep.
You love it,
He's
of course.
pretty clever.
Yeah,
actually.
good. And you had to, you follow him, you understand what he's getting at. Skip, look, this is unacceptable for the Wolves. There's no way you have this kind of talent. You got 2 first overall #1 draft
I
picks.
agree with you. I don't get this.
And
I
it
don't know
seems
how
to,
they can't
you know what
be
it
better.
seems to me, Skip? These guys are more concerned with stats than winning. Oh, Carl Anthony, he'll stuff, like you say, stuff the stat sheet. Oh, he'll be 25, 21, and Andrew Wiggins will have a game which he scores
He'll
40.
have a game.
But
and Derrick Rose will have a game, man.
it's far too much of this. It's far too much of this for the amount of talent that's on that team.
But I got to
Unacceptable.
tell you, the Sixers went Golden State on them last night.
Yeah.
Look at what the starters did in your box score. Jimmy goes 8 of 10 and 3 of 4 from 3. Embiid goes 10 of 17. Ben goes 7 of 10. It's like they couldn't miss. All 3 of them couldn't miss. They put up huge numbers.
If I'm Ben, I stay in there. I'm gonna get me a triple-double. He need one more
He
assist.
needed one more assist.
And he played less than 27 minutes. I'm gonna get that triple-dub.
Yep.
But Minnesota, this is unacceptable. And they should get trolled. I mean, everybody, when Jimmy Butler was getting traded, God bless, and I'm glad, and everybody tweeting this. Okay, you got what you want. Win some games now.
Sixers are going to win the East. You know that, don't you?
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Join us again at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports. One of one.